Chapter 294. In fact, the guests who had arrived early had already raised their questions. It was Xing Minglan on the invitation card. How did the bride become Xing Minghui? Especially the poster at the entrance of the hotel. It was obviously photoshopped. It was so fake. What's going on? Is the Xing family messing with us? The bride-to-be was Xing Minglan yesterday. How did she become Xing Minghui all of a sudden? Well, the guests had their questions. But they could not ask Grandpa Xing alone. Xing Zhao's engagement was already a good show. Could it be that the Xing family's wedding this time would be even more exciting? Everyone had questions, or rather, it should be said that the guests all had questions. They really wanted to know why the bride had changed overnight. They just wanted to see if the old man would come out to explain. At 10:00 in the morning, Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi arrived at the venue. It was different from their engagement ceremony. This time, Grandpa Xing was trying his best to make it grand. So, it was even more extravagant than the ceremony on the lawn. Although the ceremony was held indoors, the hall that could accommodate 1,000 people was decorated like a vast starry sky. It was indeed stunning. Grandpa Xing did not expect Xing Xiao to entertain the guests. But he still asked him, "How is your fourth sister now? Since you have hurt her, why do you ask?" Xing Xiao would not give him an answer so easily. Seventh sister did go overboard in this matter, but no matter what, I have to wait until the engagement ceremony is over before I settle the score with her. You don't have to look at me like that. I will not do anything out of line today. Xing Xiao knew that Grandpa Xing was afraid that he would stand up for Xing Minglan. But fourth sister would come today. So, he would not be needed. Where is Qiqi? She is with Grandpa Xing. Let her entertain her. Grandpa Xing snorted. Then, he stopped holding Xing Xiao. On the other hand, Mu Qiqi was sitting beside Grandpa Xing. She was happy when she saw Grandpa and second aunt's family. I haven't seen you for a while. How is everyone? Where is Dad? Your father is recovering now. He has improved a lot. Grandpa Xing said happily. But little Seven, didn't you say that fourth sister is getting engaged today? How did she become seventh brother? Huang Yu couldn't help but start gossiping. How did the bride change overnight? Second aunt, it's a long story. Mu Qiqi explained to Huang Yu softly. This incident happened last night. Huang Yu listened to the gossip and suddenly understood. She was angry too. This Xing Minghui is so shameless. She snatched someone else's fiancé the night before the engagement. No wonder Grandpa Xing's face is so ugly today. Sure. We can talk about this in private. Of course. If I tell others, wouldn't I be giving you trouble? Now, Huang Yu could understand the ways of the world. She knew that it would be difficult to deal with Mu Qiqi in her in-laws' home. Anyway, let's just wait and watch the show today. At 11:00 in the morning, a pair of newlyweds appeared in the venue of the engagement banquet. When the guests saw that the bride-to-be was really seventh sister and not fourth sister, they were immediately shocked. Old Xing began to explain to the guests. I'm really sorry. Someone made a mistake in the name on the invitation. I asked fourth sister to help me prepare for the ceremony, but someone messed it up. When the invitation was sent out, I only realized that I've made a mistake. I'm really sorry for embarrassing myself. Since it was a mistake, why didn't Xing Minglan appear? After listening to the explanation, the guests reluctantly accepted it. Which company did this? Old Xing, you have to find trouble with them. That's right, it's not a mistake at all. It's just a last-minute change. My good friend told me that Xing Minglan was the one who went to make the gown. Even if she was helping to organize the engagement ceremony, she didn't have to help to try on the gown, did she? Someone continued to whisper. Sigh, can you ask your friend to find out more about the inside story? It's not easy to find out about other people's private affairs. But I can guarantee that there's something fishy going on. Otherwise, why didn't Xing Minglan appear? Maybe the younger sister stole the older sister's fiancé. The two young ladies stood aside and gossiped. But Xing Minghui, who was not far away, heard it. With her temper, how could she tolerate it? She walked up to them and said, "What were you talking about just now?" Do I need to steal someone else's fiancé with my status? This engagement was mine from the beginning. Fourth sister was just helping me. Why are you being so fierce? The two young guests were not ordinary people. Everyone is talking about you behind your back. It's not just the two of us. What kind of family is the Xing family? How could they make a mistake with the invitation? Don't tease me. You're the one who deceived yourself. Isn't it obvious? Isn't it because you stole someone else's fiancé during the engagement ceremony? Then you've really misunderstood. Xing Minghui wanted them to stop talking. She whispered to them, "Why can't it be my fourth sister who did something wrong? It's only natural that outsiders don't know about the unsightly things. If not, why would the bride be changed so easily?" The two young ladies were shocked when they heard that. How would they know that Xing Minghui was so despicable? Not only did she steal someone else's fiancé, she even made a false accusation under such circumstances. Soon, the news of Xing Minglan's indecent lifestyle spread among the guests. Everyone seemed to understand that the reason for the sudden change of bride was not necessarily because of Xing Minghui. It could also be because of Xing Minglan. Finally, the gossip behind Xing Minghui's back lessened a little. Because everyone was targeting Xing Minglan. Seeing that everyone had misunderstood Xing Minglan, Xing Minghui did not care. Today was her big day. So what if she let fourth sister take the blame? However, when the Shen family heard about it, especially Huang Yu, her face turned pale. I'm convinced. Seventh sister is really good at making things up. Suddenly, Mu Qiqi looked at Xing Xiao seriously. This trash. She's still slandering fourth sister. She's really not afraid of making things worse. Then let's make it worse. Xing Xiao looked like he was watching a drama. But the Xing family's reputation, what reputation do we have if she did such a shameful thing? Xing Xiao did not care about that. Since Xing Minghui did it, she must pay the price. Who would want to take advantage of such a good thing? Let's wait for fourth sister to come. Mu Qiqi held Xing Xiao's hand and said, "Gossip is a fearful thing. Their saliva could drown fourth sister. Seventh sister is really ruthless. She did not even give fourth sister a chance to live. Does Grandpa Shen know about it? Look at him. I think he doesn't know about it." Xing Xiao pointed his chin at Grandpa Shen, who was still welcoming the guests. When will fourth sister come? Chapter 295. Xing Minglan would arrive eventually. But she would arrive just before the engagement ceremony. After Xing Minghui spread the rumors about Xing Minglan, she felt more confident standing beside Will. After all, she would feel guilty when people were gossiping about her behind her back. Soon, the rumor reached Grandpa Xing's ears. His face changed when he heard about it. He glared at Xing Minghui fiercely. If there were not so many guests, he would have turned around and left right away. Xing Minghui had snatched fourth sister's fiancé. He thought that she would feel guilty and be more respectful to fourth sister in the future. But he did not expect that she would treat her own sister like this. "Grandpa, what's wrong?" Xing Minghui asked Grandpa Xing casually when she saw his expression change. Grandpa Xing did not say anything. He turned around and went to the guest area. Because Xing Minghui had predicted that Grandpa Xing would not fall out with her on the spot. And when the ceremony was over, she would find an excuse to cover it up. She knew very well where Grandpa Xing's weakness was. She was bullying Xing Minghui because she would not come today. And no one could speak for Xing Minglan. How could she explain in such an occasion? But just when Xing Minghui was secretly delighted, she saw Xing Minglan appearing at the entrance of the hotel. She was wearing a long black dress. Xing Minglan seemed to have done it on purpose. She was wearing a white dress, while Xing Minglan was wearing a long black dress. She was not as gentle as she used to be. She had changed her aura. Xing Minglan did not look like the obedient fourth sister in the Xing family. Now, Xing Minglan and Xing Minghui looked like an angel and a demon in real life. Fourth sister is here. Mu Qiqi was surprised by Xing Minglan's queen aura when she saw her. She was wearing a long black dress and had a bright red lipstick. She looked very powerful. And the guests did not know how the show would turn out when they saw Xing Minglan. The wound on Xing Minglan's wrist was still very obvious. Although she had wrapped it with black gauze, the cut could still be seen. Wouldn't it be more interesting? Xing Minghui had never thought that Xing Minglan could be so magnanimous. She dared to come to the engagement ceremony. Will and old Xing were equally stunned when they saw Xing Minglan. Then, Mama Xing walked to Xing Minglan and pulled her aside. Minglan, you, Aunt, I'm fine. Xing Minglan said to her casually. Since it's a big matter for the Xing family, how can I not be there? But, now, the whole hall was talking about Xing Minglan's private life and her engagement was broken off. It would have been fine if she was not here and could not hear it. But now that she was here, those rumors would definitely reach her ears. Wouldn't that hurt her even more? Fourth bro, actually, everyone understands. You don't have to come all the way here. And, I'm not as weak as you think. After Xing Minglan told Mama Xing, she walked up to Grandpa Xing and Xing Minghui as if nothing had happened. Congratulations, seventh sister, Xing Minghui's palms were sweating. After all, she had dared to spread the rumor because Xing Minglan was not around. But now, Xing Minglan was right in front of her. Thank you, fourth sister. Xing Minghui's face looked terrible. Fourth sister, you can rest at home. Grandpa won't force you to attend. Since it's seventh sister's engagement ceremony, wouldn't it be more convincing for me as her sister to help her explain that the invitation was printed with the wrong name? But now, it was no longer about the invitation. Grandpa Xing's face looked terrible too. The engagement ceremony is about to start. We'll talk later. You go and look for Xing Xiao. Grandpa Xing did not let her entertain the guests but asked her to look for Xing Xiao. What kind of logic was that? Xing Minglan glanced at Xing Minghui and nodded. Okay, I'll go now. In fact, Xing Minglan was very nervous throughout the whole process. She was afraid that Xing Minglan would find out about her spreading the rumor. At that moment, there was only one thought in her mind. And that was for the engagement ceremony to start as soon as possible. Xing Minglan walked up to Xing Minglan and asked her in confusion, "What's wrong, seventh sister? You look like a mouse seeing a cat. Of course, you did something shameful again." Xing Xiao answered for Xing Qiqi slowly. What do you mean? The guests suspect that she stole your fiancé. But, she said that you have a bad sex life in order to clear her name. So, the engagement was cancelled. Mu Qiqi explained to Xing Xiao. Now, all the guests think that you were caught in the act by that Englishman. So, the engagement was cancelled. Xing Minglan smiled when she heard what Mu Qiqi said. No wonder she was sweating when she looked at me just now. No wonder Grandpa asked me to come to you instead of greeting the guests. Fourth sister, what are you going to do? It's true that it's her engagement ceremony today. But I'm not that magnanimous to put up with her groundless slander. Just wait and see. Xing Minglan did not show her anger immediately. She did not tell Mu Chi-Chi and the others what she was going to do. Sometimes, when people were extremely angry, they would think of 1,000 ways to take revenge. And now, she was thinking about what kind of price she should make seventh sister pay. Before the engagement ceremony started, Grandpa Xing arranged for the guests to enter the hall. Then, he pulled Xing Minglan aside and said, Fourth sister, what do you want to say, Grandpa? Are you asking me to put up with it for the sake of the big picture? Xing Minglan asked. Grandpa Xing took a deep breath and said helplessly, just put up with it until tonight. Xing Minglan did not say anything. She walked past Grandpa Xing and waited until their backs were against each other. Then, she said, Grandpa, this is the second time you choose to sacrifice me. Minglan, do you think I will believe you? Grandpa Xing was stunned. But, when he turned around, Xing Minglan had already disappeared from his sight. Grandpa Xing felt very sad. He felt that he owed fourth sister a lot. More importantly, he did not know what fourth sister was going to do next. So, he could only be on high alert. Even if this matter was exposed in the end, it was Xing Minglan's fault. Since she had gotten the sweetness, she should know when to stop. But, unexpectedly, she dared to challenge Xing Minglan's bottom line again and again. It seemed that today's engagement ceremony would not be easy. Chapter 296. The security guard was stunned. If he had known that he would have locked her up, wouldn't it have been better to trap her at home? Perhaps none of them expected that Xing Minglan would really show up. Grandpa, the engagement ceremony is about to begin. Fourth sister, do you know what you have done? Grandpa Xing glared at Xing Minghui. I really didn't know that you could be so cruel. Your sister's fiancé was stolen by you. And what about you? You are spreading rumors about her everywhere. I had no choice. Xing Minghui quickly admitted defeat. Grandpa, look, it's my big day today. But, all the guests are talking about me. I just wanted to divert their attention. And, I didn't say anything bad about fourth sister. Before the ceremony began, they were talking in the bride-to-be's lounge. You know that gossip is a fearful thing. Even a white lie might be turned into a black one. Didn't you do it on purpose? Grandpa, even if you want to punish me, can you wait until after the ceremony is over? And when the ceremony was over, she would use her pregnancy as an excuse to avoid physical punishment from Grandpa Xing. She would only be lectured verbally. She had heard it since she was young. So, there was nothing to be afraid of. Grandpa Xing didn't say anything else. He walked out of the lounge. But, Xing Minglan came in. When their eyes met, Xing Minghui felt a little awkward. Fourth sister, why aren't you here? Don't you know very well why I'm here? Xing Minglan asked Xing Minghui calmly. Fourth sister, I don't understand what you mean. If I didn't come today, were you going to let me take the blame for this? Xing Minglan continued to ask Xing Minghui. How about this? I won't ask for too much. After the engagement ceremony is over, you can clarify this matter and I won't pursue it anymore. Otherwise, I don't know what I will do. Fourth sister, please forgive me this time. I really didn't do it on purpose. Don't try to trick me. I've been tricked by you too many times. Xing Minglan was unmoved. You have two choices. Either you clarify it, or none of us will have a good time. Xing Minghui was afraid. She could only calm Xing Minglan down. Fourth sister, don't be so agitated. I understand what you mean. I promise you. But the ceremony is about to start. I'll go there first. Having said that, Xing Minghui picked up her gown and walked out of the lounge. At the same time, she closed the door behind her. After that, she had someone guard the lounge to prevent Xing Minglan from coming out. In fact, it was Grandpa Xing's idea. But would it be better to just close her off? It wasn't like she didn't bring her phone with her. It's not like this is some sealed space. Everything can be settled with just a call from Jing Yun, isn't it? Meanwhile, in the banquet hall, the engagement ceremony was about to begin. Mu Qiqi was a little worried when she saw that Xing Minglan had gone to the washroom for a long time. But Xing Xiao held her down. Jing Yun is protecting fourth sister. What does that have to do with you? I'm just worried that seventh sister will find a way to trap fourth sister. If you could think of that, why wouldn't fourth sister? Xing Xiao retorted. Mu Qiqi glared at him and pinched his palm. Is it fun to tease me? On the stage, the MC was already in position. And the newlyweds walked to the center of the stage. All the lights in the hall shone on the newlyweds. When the MC was about to read the vows, a black figure appeared in the long aisle. All the guests saw her walking straight to the newlyweds. Then, she grabbed Xing Minghui with one hand and gave her a loud slap with the other. All the guests were stunned. Meanwhile, old Xing shuddered all over. What was meant to come would come. You shameless thing. Not only did you steal my fiancé on the night before the engagement, you even shamelessly spread rumors that I'm a promiscuous person. Don't think that I have to give in to you just because you are my sister. Everyone was stunned. Especially Xing Minghui herself. She quickly looked at Grandpa Xing, who was sitting at the guest table. Her expression was pleading for help. Grandpa Xing wanted to look at the big picture. He stood up. But when he opened his mouth, Xing Minglan interrupted him. She stole my fiancé last night. Grandpa, you are biased towards her. Fine. I don't want this engagement anymore. Today, I came to the hall and found out that this bitch spread rumors about me. But you are still biased towards her. Do you want me to let her go this time? But she locked me in the lounge so that I wouldn't stop her from getting engaged. I'm not human if I keep tolerating her. Xing Minghui, I don't have to give in to you every time. Not today, not in the future. I'll give this scumbag to you. You don't have to thank me, but you stole him from me. You better get this straight. If there's a next time and you use me as your scapegoat, I'll still do what I did today and ruin your reputation. With those words, Xing Minglan looked at Grandpa Xing. It doesn't matter if you acknowledge me as your granddaughter. Because in my heart, you're already dead. And with that series of face-slapping moves, Xing Minglan walked down the stage in front of all the guests. She held her head high and puffed out her chest. Her aura was so powerful that the guests had their fill of a good show. What did her actions mean? Nothing else. She was no longer a member of the Xing family. Because of Grandpa Xing's coercion, she had no choice but to stay in the Xing family. That was why she simply gave up everything and did not care about anything. It was a life-and-death struggle for both sides. Grandpa Xing was powerless to change anything. Because he had hurt Xing Minglan too much. He knew very well that this granddaughter of his really hated the Xing family. She was no longer willing to consider herself a member of the Xing family or his granddaughter. Hence, the scene suddenly froze. Xing Xiao, however, was clapping. The guests followed suit. Of course, their applause was not for Xing Minghui, but for Xing Minglan. Chairman Xing, do you want to continue? The MC asked Grandpa Xing after a long pause. Grandpa Xing was strong enough. He simply waved his hand as if nothing had happened. Let's continue. However, everyone now knew how the newlyweds on the stage had betrayed their sister, and even rubbed salt into her wound. Blessing her. Wishing Minghui worthy. She was such a despicable woman. She had stolen someone else's fiancé. She should have some self-awareness. She even tried to shift the blame to someone else at the engagement party. How shameful was she? Chapter 297. After the ceremony, Grandpa Xing immediately called the butler of the Xing family and got an answer from him. Miss Minglan has moved out. I couldn't stop her no matter what. I understand. Grandpa Xing took a deep breath. He had to admit that he was worried enough about his grandchildren. But how could he not worry? Did Xing Xiao ever think about the future of Huang Yao when he brought Mu Qiqi back, who was useless to him? And now that the scandal of the Xing family was out, there was no telling how long people would laugh at them. So, was Xing Minghui really happy after she got engaged to the Englishman? She would probably find a hole to hide in after the ceremony and never come out again. But she still had to face the guests. After entering the lounge, she cried even more miserably. Grandpa, how could fourth sister treat me like that in front of everyone? She treated you the same way you treated her. Moreover, you should be satisfied that fourth sister has moved out of the Xing family. Grandpa Xing was so angry that his chest hurt. Xing Minghui stopped crying when she heard that. Wasn't it a good thing that Xing Minglan moved out? She was the only granddaughter in the Xing family now. Wouldn't Grandpa Xing love her even more? And if Xing Minglan left the Xing family, it meant that she was no longer the young lady of the Xing family. She had given up on the protection of the Xing family. Was that what he meant? Humph. Don't ever come back if you can. After arguing with Grandpa Xing, Xing Minghui returned to the banquet hall. But when she saw the mocking looks from the guests, she felt terrible all over. She really stole sister's fiancé and slandered her sister for having a bad lifestyle. How could there be such a bitch in the Xing family? Isn't that right? If I were her, I would have killed myself on the spot to get back some dignity. I really didn't expect that she still has the face to get engaged to the Englishman. She's the most shameless person in Jianchuan. The guests were mocking her everywhere in the washroom. But what could Xing Minghui do? She never thought that Xing Minglan could be so ruthless. She was bitterly disappointed. Finally, I see seventh sister getting hurt. Fourth sister was so cool just now. Mu Qiqi had a private discussion with Xing Xiao after lunch. Shouldn't we retire after we've succeeded? Go and tell Grandpa that we are going to celebrate the establishment of fourth sister's new company. Fourth sister's new company is being established today too. Mu Qiqi covered her mouth in surprise. Then let's hurry. With that, Mu Qiqi pulled Xing Xiao to old Xing. Xing Minghui was there too. It's about time, we should go, Xing Xiao, you must have laughed at me behind my back. Seventh sister said sourly. Especially Qiqi. You are so happy. Don't try to shift your hatred to someone else. You should be thankful that I didn't do anything today. If I had interfered, don't you know what would have happened to you? Xing Xiao mocked Xing Minghui, ignoring the fact that she had hurt Mu Qiqi. Xing Minghui said nothing. All right, that's enough, Grandpa Xing said to Xing Xiao. Let's go back. There's no point in staying here anyway. Grandpa, Xing Xiao smiled and led Mu Qiqi out of the hotel. But Xing Minghui did not stop complaining. Grandpa, fourth sister has always been gentle. Don't you think it's strange that she suddenly exploded? It's all because of you. Just stop. Don't cause trouble for Mu Qiqi before the VVIP night. I don't need you to attract hatred for me anymore. Yes, Grandpa. Xing Minghui said angrily. Everything depended on the VVIP night of Huang Yao. Although she had been trampled on by Xing Minglan today, she would make Xing Minglan regret it one day. On the other hand, Xing Minglan had officially moved out of the Xing family and announced the establishment of a new company. And now, she was at the entrance of the new company, holding a ribbon-cutting ceremony with the other shareholders. It was not a big deal to leave the Xing family, because from today onwards, she would rely on herself. As for the old man, he wouldn't dare to come over and obstruct them openly. She had to admit that she had purposely blown things up today. She wanted everyone to know that Grandpa Xing owed her. And because of that, Grandpa Xing did not dare to interfere too much with her decision. Soon, Xing Xiao and the other two arrived at Xing Minglan's important moment. But they did not approach her and watched from afar. It was only when the event was over that Mu Qiqi greeted Xing Minglan. "Fourth sister. Why are you so late? We have been watching from the side." Xing Xiao raised a brow at her. "You left just now and missed everyone's applause. I think I should make it up to you now." Xing Minglan laughed and punched Xing Xiao's chest. "Don't make fun of me." Xing Xiao smiled and approached Xing Minglan. He whispered into her ear so that Jing Yun could not hear, "To celebrate the establishment of your new company, I have a gift for you." "What is it? Didn't you want to know who that Zhao Lin is before?" "She's right beside me." Xing Xiao did not put it bluntly, but Xing Minglan understood. What Xing Xiao meant was that the owner of the gold card was Jing Yun. "What do you think? Do you like this gift? Since you've given me one, you wouldn't mind if I ask for another one, would you?" Xing Minglan was being generous now. "My new company has just been established and I lack an experienced assistant. If you really want to give me a gift, I want Jing Yun." Jing Yun, who was standing beside them, was stunned. Xing Xiao, however, appeared prepared. "Well, it depends on whether you have the ability to make Jing Yun agree. Just wait and see." Mu Qiqi watched as the siblings chatted and laughed, and suddenly felt that Xing Minglan's brilliance as the CEO could not be concealed. Xing Minglan's aura had also changed from the tactful and forbearing Xing Minglan to a domineering woman with an indestructible body. "You can start hooking up right now." With those words, Xing Minglan turned with Mu Qiqi and told Jing Yun, "You stay." Jing Yun was speechless. "Xiao Qi's Huang Yao VVAP night. Just let me know if you need anything." Xing Minglan shouted at their backs. But Xing Xiao waved her off, gesturing that Qi did not need any help. Jing Yun was left to face Xing Minglan alone. Miss Minglan. Chapter 298. Looking at Xing Minglan's smile, Jing Yun knew that it was a poison that looked like a candy. So, he replied, "You've gained your freedom after much difficulty. It's not worth it if you lose it because of me. The company has just started. I do need a helper by my side." Xing Minglan knew that Jing Yun was a very serious person. Once he teased someone, he would become serious. It was really frustrating. So, she changed her tone to a businesslike one. "There are many talents in the world. Miss Minglan would definitely be able to find someone capable. Then should I find a man to be with me day and night?" Jing Yun was speechless. "It's fine if he's a good person. But, what if it's someone like Will? Or even Lang Feng?" Xing Minglan made Jing Yun speechless. He could only admit defeat. Now that Xing Minglan was not with the Xing family, she could not get the direct protection of Huang Yao. "I'll help you for 2 months. I'll leave after you've mastered everything." "All right." Xing Minglan flashed a victorious smile. Although she knew that it was too much to test Jing Yun step by step, Jing Yun was a man who had no other tricks up his sleeves. He was just that restrained, stubborn, and loyal. Xing Minglan suddenly felt the urge to cry when she thought of the money in the gold card. It was probably all Jing Yun's savings in his life, not for anything else. He had already handed over his wife's account. But he still had no intention of dating. Jing Yun was probably the dumbest person in the world. On the other hand, Xing Minghui's engagement ceremony ended hastily after a grand ceremony. After all, Grandpa Xing did not want to stay in the hotel and be criticized by others. Moreover, he had yet to settle the score with Xing Minghui. So, when Xing Minghui stepped through the front door of the Xing family, she was met with Grandpa Xing's punishment. Xing Minghui was taken aback. She glanced at her fiancé. "Help me." "Oh, Grandpa, don't do that." Will quickly stood in front of Xing Minghui. "Get out of my way." Grandpa Xing said directly to Will. "This is an internal affair of the Xing family. You are not a true member of the Xing family yet. Just watch from the side." Helpless, Will dodged aside, while Grandpa Xing walked up to Xing Minghui and slapped her. "You've stolen your fourth sister's fiancé, slandered her and forced her to leave, shaming the Xing family. Do you think I won't settle this score with you?" Xing Minghui's eyes widened. "Grandpa." Xing Minghui wanted to resist, but she did not have the guts. "Do you still want to quibble?" With that, the old man hit him with the rod again. "Grandpa, what if I get pregnant soon? Aren't you afraid of injuring my body by hitting me like this?" When the old man heard this, he hit her again. "I know very well where I hit. I can't hurt your stomach." When Xing Minghui saw that her attack was useless, she knelt on the ground. "You can kill me for someone who has left the family." Grandpa Xing got even angrier after hearing that. He attacked even more fiercely. "I really want to kill you. Don't think that I won't dare to do anything to you. I've spoiled you too much. That's why you're so arrogant. How dare you sacrifice your own sister? Go kneel in the Xing family's ancestral hall for 3 days. Otherwise, get out of the Xing family. Grandpa, there is no room for negotiation. Kneel or get out." Xing Minghui was resentful. But she did not dare to disobey or resist. The skin on her back was torn. But Grandpa Xing did not send anyone to get her a doctor. He did not allow anyone to touch her these days. Compared to Xing Minghui's sadness, Xing Minghui's pain was nothing. Unfortunately, Xing Minghui might not want to return to the Xing family for the rest of her life. On the other hand, although Xing Minghui was kneeling in the ancestral hall, Will secretly went to see her. He even brought her food. "How dare the old man treat me like this? I am his granddaughter. It's fine if he is biased towards fourth sister. We can still fight." Look, no matter how forgiving Grandpa Xing was toward her, as long as he sided with Xing Minglan once, Xing Minghui would lose her balance and become unreasonable. Mama Xing told Xing Xiao about seventh sister's punishment of kneeling in the ancestral hall the next day, but Xing Xiao only sneered after he heard about it. Now that seventh sister has Will, she would only be more unbridled in the Xing family. The old man had only punished fourth sister to kneel in the ancestral hall after she was hurt so badly. If seventh sister has a son or daughter, no one would have a good life in the future. Yes. Your grandfather always seems biased towards you. But the truth is, he just wants to control you the most. He never cares about your feelings. You still know. Xing Xiao smiled. Eighth brother, I know that your grandfather has caused your fourth sister to be in this state. If you and Mu Chi-Chi are to get married in the future, it will not be easy. However, I will always be on your side. No matter what your grandfather wants to do, I will do my best to protect Mu Chi-Chi. Mom, remember what you said today. If something happens to us, you must protect Chi-Er first. Mama Xing nodded solemnly. She knew what Muqiqi meant to Xing Xiao. She was half his life. How's the preparation for Xiao Qi's VVIP night? Let's wait for 2 more days. When Qi has confirmed something, let the planning department have a meeting with her. She will need to use some resources. Okay. I will arrange it. Mama Xing said and left her son's office. Of course, she had to wait outside during the meeting. Otherwise, the planning department would bully her little wife because she was only 18 years old. Since she had promised her son, she would do her best to fulfill it. As a mother, she only wanted her son to be happy at this age. Nothing else mattered. Xing Minghui knelt in the ancestral hall for 3 whole days. On the day she came out of the hall, she heard that Muqiqi was going to have a meeting with the planning department of Huangyao. I really don't know what grandfather is thinking. Handing such an important matter to a girl. Isn't he afraid that the VVIP night of Huangyao will be turned into a child's play? What was even more ridiculous was that she wanted to take Muqiqi's credit. If Muqiqi did not have Xing Xiao by her side, she would be nothing. Huangyao would only be her dream in her next life. Since you are out, you better behave yourself. Grandpa Xing warned Xing Minghui. Grandfather, I heard that Muqiqi is going to Huangyao for a meeting. Chapter 299. What was Muqiqi waiting for? She wanted to make sure that eldest Luke could find the whereabouts of the jewelry and was confident enough to get it. After getting the answer, Muqiqi took a day off from school and went to Huangyao for a meeting. She was a little nervous when she thought about it. After all, it was the place where Xiao Xiao had been fighting. Now that she was going there, it was a strange feeling. The meeting starts at 9 o'clock. Mom's secretary will be your assistant. She will help you print out the documents and coordinate. Mom will be there too. Mom will be at the door. She is afraid that you will be nervous. But she is more afraid that you will be bullied. Xing Xiao adjusted the collar of Muqiqi's coat. Then, he hugged her and kissed her on the forehead. You can take charge without me, right? Of course. Muqiqi smiled and waved the documents in her hand. Xing Xiao did not read the proposal because he trusted his little one. Then, they got into the car and went to Huangyao. When they arrived at Huangyao, Xing Xiao held Muqiqi's hand as they walked through the door. The employees of Huangyao were overjoyed when they saw the legendary bride. All these years, everyone had been guessing what kind of woman could win the crown prince's heart. They had guessed all kinds of women, but they did not expect it to be a 19-year-old girl. In Huangyao, some of the talented women were upset when they found out that they had lost to a little girl. Moreover, not only did she win their idol, she even came to the company for a meeting because she was the planner of Huangyao's latest VVIP event. What a fantasy world! Everyone watched as Xing Xiao led Muqiqi to the meeting room and sent her to the door. When Mama Xing's secretary saw Xing Xiao and Muqiqi, she went up to them and greeted them respectfully. Crown Prince, young madam. I will leave her to you. Xing Xiao kissed Muqiqi's forehead and left the meeting room. Young madam, the planning department is on standby. Do you have any documents that you need me to prepare for you? Please make copies of these for me. Muqiqi handed the documents to the secretary. Since she was Mama Xing's secretary, she naturally trusted her. About 2 minutes later, the secretary returned to Muqiqi with the documents and said, "It's almost time. Let's go in." How many people are there in the planning department? About 15. 15 people, and not one of them can come up with an outstanding proposal. The secretary smiled and pushed the door open for Muqiqi. Muqiqi walked in and saw a group of lifeless employees. This was the current planning department of Huangyao. There was no vitality at all. Among them, there were 4 old employees, all male, 4 female, and the rest were all young men. Muchichi could see from their eyes that they did not trust her at all. Of course, she was young and a layman. How could she shoulder such a heavy responsibility? However, Muchichi did not mind their amused gazes, and simply had her secretary pass down the copied documents. But this kind of untidy plan really made people have no desire to open it. But Muchichi was not in a hurry. She walked to the main seat and greeted everyone. "Hello, everyone. I am Muchichi, the planner of Huang Yao's VVIP night. I hope that you can take care of me in the next 10 days. Then, there was a soft round of applause. Now, here is the content of the event that I am going to talk about. Please take a look at it. Miss Mu, there is no way to read such a plan. One of the old employees started to pick holes in the plan. This is not done by a professional. You can't let us get the key information in a simple way. I am very worried about this event. Aren't you still worried without me? Muchichi was not afraid of the old man taking advantage of his seniority. You said that there is no way to read this plan. Have you opened it? What is written on the first page? The old man did not expect such a sharp response from Muchichi. He was stunned. Let's do it this way. I know that at this moment, it is indeed a bit difficult for all of you who have worked for a few years, or even decades, to listen to a little girl like me talk about planning. Close all the plans and let's get to know each other first. The secretary was worried for Muchichi. She knew that although the people in the planning department could not come up with a plan, they were still old foxes. They looked down on others just because of their seniority. What's more, Muchichi was an outsider. Miss Mu, forgive me for being blunt. You are a forensic student. Do you even know what a plan is? If you know about planning, haven't Huang Yao been stagnant for so many years? Muchichi retorted. The purpose of Huang Yao's VVIP night is to repay the distinguished guests who have taken good care of Huang Yao over the past year. It is also to promote the event and warm up for the next event. Not only do we have to make the old customers feel that they are still respected, but we also have to make the new guests feel that Huang Yao's service is as good as diamonds. Which one of these have you achieved? I have read the briefings of your department for the past 3 years. Is your brain empty? You have no idea at all. You are just following the tradition. While you are doubting me, think about what you have done in your position. Muchichi's words hit the nail on the head. The old man was speechless and could only shut up. Why does Grandpa want to use a newbie like me this time? It is simple. He feels that there is no need to keep the planning department. Everyone has been racking their brains to keep their jobs. But year after year, you have been doing it half-heartedly. Do you really think that Grandpa is a fool? So, he asked me, a newbie, to give you a reminder. If you continue like this, will you believe it? Next year, the people sitting here for the meeting will not have me, and neither will you. After hearing Muchichi's words, everyone began to feel fearful. So, it's up to you whether or not you want to cooperate with me. If you're willing to cooperate, I'll take full responsibility if anything goes wrong. But if you don't want to cooperate, then I advise you to apply for resignation after you walk out of here. Otherwise, you'll be fired and lose face. The secretary was standing beside Muchichi. She was completely stunned when she heard what she said. What a beautiful show of kindness and power. She was indeed the crown prince's fiancée. So, what do you choose? The 15 people looked at each other. In the end, they chose to cooperate with Muchichi. Chapter 300. If you had done this earlier, you wouldn't have wasted everyone's time. Muchichi retracted her sharp gaze. Then, everyone started to open the proposal in their hands. At the same time, Muchichi began to explain. In recent years, the most important reason to stop Huang Yao's activities is because of the grudge between the sisters-in-law of the Liu family. As long as they are together, they will definitely make the whole banquet unpleasant. Because they are all distinguished guests of Huang Yao, we can't just invite one of them. It's understandable that you are afraid. But why didn't anyone think of solving this problem? We are just nobodies. How can we have the guts? Some people finally began to express the helplessness in their hearts. Those with power and influence don't even see us as human beings. As long as we make a mistake, we will lose our jobs. Who doesn't have a family waiting to feed? What I'm concerned about is, have you thought of solving it? Muchichi asked again patiently. Everyone looked at each other and shook their heads. All right. Have you finished reading my proposal? Everyone lowered their heads and buried themselves in Muchichi's proposal again. When page after page of activity schedules appeared in front of everyone, almost everyone's eyes had already completed the process of going from being dull to being excited. Wonderful. Really? What a smart idea. Excellent. Everyone began to praise her in unison. Why didn't you think of separating the two of them into two different venues? If they don't meet each other, they will naturally not quarrel or cause trouble. In the past, we had to consider the budget and cost. But if we combine the VIPs of Huang Yao with the publicity this time, we can save on the budget. The publicity department will also cooperate, and we will have more resources. Seeing that everyone agreed with her proposal, Muchichi began to explain in detail. Eldest young Master Liu has already agreed to cooperate and found the precious jewelry that was auctioned in Huang Yao, which is equivalent to Huang Yao's classic diamond series. The most popular thing now is retro. I've also seen the latest trend abroad. It's a cycle of 10 years, and it's time for the classic and retro series to make their debut. That's right. On the other hand, Second Madam's focus is on the young range. Let her outshine all the others, and she won't care about quarrels or grudges anymore. I know Second Madam well. She likes new things the most, so she also represents vitality. Letting her try on the new products can satisfy her vanity, and at the same time, promote it. As for this side, arrange for people to prepare. There must be something in common between the two events. That is, the images of the other party's event will be displayed on the screens. This will give people the illusion that Huang Yao is holding the same event, but in two different spaces. Most importantly, the entire event must be kept secret. There is no need to leave the address of the event in the invitation letter, because the people from Huang Yao will personally pick them up. This will prevent the information of the two venues from being leaked, and also ensure that the guests are sent to different venues, especially eldest Madame Liu and youngest Madame Liu. Also, since it is the night of giving back, we must show Huang Yao sincerity. When the new products are released, we must give the guests the gifts they like, and be considerate. What about giving discounts? The people in the planning department began to have questions. Rich people don't care about money. If you give them discounts, it will be an insult to them. So, improving the quality of service is the key, Muchichi answered directly. Miss Mu is right. I've met a couple of rich ladies who went to buy something. At that time, the item was already sold out. The salesperson told them that they could exchange it for something else, and they would give them discounts. In the end, the rich ladies threw money at them, because they were not short of money. Slowly, everyone's attitude towards this 19-year-old girl began to change. First of all, she would take care of everything. She would first understand the details, and before doing anything, she would be fully prepared. Second of all, she was brave and smart. Moreover, she was bold and sharp. In the end, a 19-year-old girl had won against all of them, who had worked for most of their lives. This made the people in the planning department feel ashamed. On the other hand, Mama Xing's secretary had not seen the planning department being so energetic for a long time. The meeting lasted for 2 hours, but everyone learned a lot. In the end, Muchichi made arrangements for the people in the planning department according to what they were good at. She even warned them mischievously, "To be honest, Grandpa sent me here because he wants me to embarrass myself with you. If you want to ensure that the event goes smoothly, don't let anyone find out about the plan. We must keep it a secret. If I'm framed, then this event will be very difficult. Don't worry, Miss Mu. Let me ask you one last question. Did the Crown Prince give you these things?" Muchichi was about to answer when Xing Xiao finished his meeting. He came in from the door. In fact, he had been standing at the door for a while. Everyone watched as he walked up to the staff and casually flipped through the proposal. "Although I see her tinkering with it every day, this is the first time I've seen the content. Do you think she needs me to teach her?" Everyone laughed when they heard that. "I'm afraid she doesn't need to." "Then why don't you just trust your intuition? Is that enough?" "I'm going to bring my little one to lunch." "Go ahead, Crown Prince." "Goodbye, Miss Mu." Everyone closed the document and stood up. "Take care of your documents. Everyone, keep a low profile." Before Muchichi left, she reminded everyone that she was not guarding against anyone. It was just the scheming old man. Mama Xing's secretary followed behind them. She admired Muchichi from the bottom of her heart. When they were far away, she returned to Mama Xing. "Madam, are you really not going to consider working in Huangyao? It is my first time seeing the planning department being so active. Moreover, young madam's way of solving problems is really ingenious." "Really?" Mama Xing smiled. Her ingenuity is totally different from the Crown Prince's style. The Crown Prince is cynical. But young madam is full of energy and initiative. Everything she does is to promote Huangyao. She is really not simple. Mama Xing was looking forward to how exciting the VVIP night of Huangyao would be after hearing the secretary's praise of Muchichi. The Crown Prince has good taste. I can understand why he likes young madam so much now. The other departments did not know what Muchichi had said to them in the meeting room. But when they entered the meeting room, the planning department was like a dead fish. But now, they came back to life. It was unbelievable. Chapter 301. Grandpa Xing was waiting for the employees of Huangyao, especially the planning department, to complain about Muchichi. But to his surprise, nothing happened. The planning department even dragged the publicity department into it. Everyone was carrying out the event in an orderly manner. Grandpa Xing found it unbelievable. So, when Mama Xing got home, he called her into the study and asked, "Is the VVIP event already in preparation?" "Yes, it's going well." Mama Xing answered. "Muchichi planned it?" "Yes, father." Mama Xing nodded. Eighth brother must have intervened. Muchichi planned it all by herself. Eighth brother did not interfere at all. Mama Xing answered in a neither servile nor overbearing manner. "Didn't you ask Muchichi to do this to test her ability? Or is it that you want to see her being ridiculed? What are you talking about? I'm just surprised. Since everything is going well, let's see how the VVIP night turns out. Also, I heard that fourth sister has set up a new company." After hearing that, Mama Xing looked at Grandpa Xing seriously and asked sincerely, "Father, do you think that fourth sister still cares about the Xing family? Let's not talk about anything else, but regarding seventh sister's matter, you're too biased towards her. Since you've set fourth sister free, don't meddle in her private affairs anymore. Otherwise, she might really be forced into a corner by you. Fourth sister has always been a good child. What kind of grudge could force her to cut her wrist? Don't you know it in your heart?" Grandpa Xing had nothing to say, because he owed Xing Minglan too much in this matter. And seventh sister. She is the only granddaughter in the family now. When fourth sister was around, she was spoiled and arrogant. Now that fourth sister is gone, she is even more lawless. Father, I am not afraid of you saying that I am a busybody. If this goes on, seventh sister will get into trouble sooner or later. Grandpa Xing took a deep breath and nodded. You can leave now. Let me think about it. He must not interfere with Xing Minglan's matter anymore. Otherwise, as Mama Xing said, fourth sister might be driven to death. Remembering what seventh brother had been doing recently, old Xing's heart began to ache again. However, he reaped what he sowed. After Xing Minglan founded her new company, Jing Yun kept his promise and transferred from Huang Yao to Xing Minglan's new company. However, everything was still not on track due to the establishment of the new company. That was why Xing Minglan did not get a chance to talk to him even though they were in the same office for the first 2 days. Chief Xing, please sign here. Jing Yun put a pile of documents in front of Xing Minglan. These are the confirmed partners. I've already signed the contract. Now I'm waiting for you to sign it. It's time to get off work. Let's have a meal together. Xing Minglan took the documents and said to Jing Yun. I have a dinner party tonight, are you talking about cooperation as well? Xing Minglan asked. Jing Yun did not say anything, which meant that he agreed. If that's the case, let's go together. I've been enjoying the fruits of your labor for the past few days. You didn't even give me a chance to do anything. You've done everything and delivered it to me. Are you in such a hurry to get rid of me? Xing Minglan sounded disappointed. Chief Xing, every step you take now must be steady. Because without the protection of the Xing family, the outside world will not give you any face. Ahem. Xing Minglan was about to explain when she inadvertently coughed twice. Jing Yun was taken aback. I'm sorry. I was too impatient. Let's deal with this tomorrow. It's late now. I'll send you home first. I'm just a little tired. Jing Yun stayed up late. She stayed up late too. It was just that Jing Yun did not know. Let's go. Jing Yun did not allow her to resist. He took her coat and dragged her to the parking lot of the company. The chairman should know about the establishment of your new company. But with Madam covering for you, there shouldn't be any threats for the time being. As long as Miss Minglan doesn't come looking for trouble, Xing Minglan said nothing. She simply sat in the car and soon fell asleep on the seat. Jing Yun saw that she had fallen asleep. He did not wake her up when they reached home. He just stayed by her side without a word. But Xing Minglan slept until midnight. When she woke up, it was already 1:00 in the morning. Xing Minglan was startled. She looked at Jing Yun. Why didn't you wake me up? I saw that you were sleeping soundly. Let's go back. I've rescheduled the meeting. Xing Minglan looked out of the car window. It was quiet. Then, she looked around. There were no passers-by. So, she turned to Jing Yun and said, although it seems like I'm not being reserved, I still want to do it. With that, Xing Minglan hugged him. Seeing that Jing Yun was struggling, she threatened him. If you dare to move, I'll kiss you. Jing Yun immediately became obedient. I've been very tired these days. But I'm also very happy. Especially when I see you in front of me. I feel very safe. At that, Jing Yun's hand subconsciously wrapped around Xing Minglan's waist. Go and rest. Xing Minglan took a deep breath. Satisfied, she pushed the door open and got out of the car. Bring me along for the next meeting. Jing Yun nodded. But his hand was still very unnatural. Because there was still Xing Minglan's warmth and scent on it. With that, Xing Minglan turned and went upstairs. Jing Yun quickly left the apartment. Being with her, it was too dangerous. Really, too dangerous. Meanwhile, in Jingting, the heated battle had just ended. Xing Xiao was cleaning up the battlefield. He also cleaned the little woman who was exhausted from the inside out. He wanted her to be dry and comfortable. Did I not do well? I even had to endure your beating. Mu Chi-Chi complained. You're my woman. Of course, you're doing well. But that doesn't stop me from finding excuses to want you at any time. Xing Xiao carried her from the bathroom back to the big bed. Little one, when you get more and more attention, I will also become proud. Well, I'll forgive you for the beating tonight since you're praised by the Crown Prince of Huangyao. Don't act like you're the victim. Xing Xiao sneered. He sat on the bed and pulled the little one into his arms. Grandpa will definitely make a move during Huangyao's event. You have to be careful. Do you think I'm still naive? I'm going to believe his nonsense. Mu Chi-Chi drew circles on Xing Xiao's body. But if the event is a success, you have to promise me one thing. There's no need for the event. I can promise you now. After all, I'm all yours. That's different. That's the fruit of victory. Mu Chi-Chi snorted. Chapter 302. Xing Minghui soon found out that Xing Minglan had started a company. Now she had something to do. Xing Minglan had humiliated her during her engagement ceremony. She did not dare to go out now. No matter what, she had to make Xing Minglan suffer. Did they think that their business would be so easy after leaving the Xing family? There was no such thing. So, she sent someone to investigate Xing Minglan's company, and learned that Xing Minglan was looking for partners everywhere. Grandfather doesn't care about fourth sister now. It's simple. He just has to use her identity as the seventh daughter of the Xing family to pressure Xing Minglan's business partner. Everything would be fine since fourth sister is not with the Xing family now. Grandpa Xing thought that Xing Minghui would restrain herself, so he called her to the study. Your fourth sister has set up her own company. If you still have a conscience, don't go there and cause trouble. Grandpa, why are you looking at me like that? I also hope that fourth sister is well. I really couldn't tell. Grandpa Xing snorted coldly with his hands behind his back. Also, Huang Yao's event is just around the corner. Mu Chi-Chi has already made arrangements with the planning department. Don't go and ruin it. When the time comes, just take over her credit. When the time comes, I will also announce to the public that you are the planner of this event. Eighth brother will definitely make a scene. The Xing family's business should be taken over by the Xing family in the first place. Why would he be making a fuss? Old Xing thought so matter-of-factly. Alright, Grandpa, I know what to do. Mu Chi-Chi was just used and bullied. No matter how uncomfortable eighth brother was, he could only go to Grandpa Xing to cause trouble. He could not blame her. If she guessed correctly, Grandpa wanted her to take over the director position of the planning department after the VVIP night. That would mean that she had officially entered Huangyao. With Will's help, she thought that everything would be smooth sailing in Huangyao in the future. In comparison, weren't Xing Minglan and Mu Chi-Chi too pitiful? However, she could make the two of them even more miserable. At night, Jing Yun brought Xing Minglan to the banquet, because it was a chance for Xing Minglan to grow rapidly. However, when they were on the way to the hotel, they received a call from the other party, saying that they had found another partner, and that they would not be discussing the contract this time. Jing Yun parked the car by the side and immediately called the relevant staff. His subordinate said that this matter was very sudden. When they contacted him in the afternoon, they were still willing to cooperate. Jing Yun's face darkened, and Xing Minglan seemed to have guessed something. I was so anxious to discuss a few more collaborations with you because I didn't want a situation like today to happen again. It's fine. I know Seventh Sister won't let it go so easily. I don't have the protection of the Xing family now, so aren't I at her mercy? I'll tell young master about this. As for the rest, we need to make sure that there are no changes to the other contracts. Xing Minglan nodded. She was not as angry or discouraged as Jing Yun had imagined. In other words, she had already made up her mind. However, the business partners who were discussing seemed to be deliberately toying with the two of them. At first, they agreed, but when it was time to talk about cooperation, they said that they had found another company. This happened 4 times in a row. He had many ways to help Xing Minglan in business, be it connections or anything else. But if the Xing family were to suppress him, he would be helpless in that aspect. That was why he had to tell Xing Xiao about this. Only when Xing Xiao came forward could Seventh Sister restrain herself. Of course, Xing Xiao did not intend to go back to the Xing family and complain to Grandpa Xing just like that. He had prepared a few good scenes, even having Xing Minglan pretend to be hospitalized and sick. After a few nights, Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi purposely went back to Xing Mansion for dinner. Grandpa Xing appeared to be disgusted, but he did not say anything since he was still using Mu Qiqi. Xing Xiao, I called Minglan last night. She's in the hospital. What happened? Mama Xing began her first act. Xing Xiao leaned back on his chair and did not answer. It was Mu Qiqi who spoke. Mother, Fourth Sister is sick. What's wrong? The old man was nervous and stood up from the chair. I thought you couldn't wait for her to die. Xing Xiao snorted coldly. Speak properly, Xing Xiao. What happened to your fourth sister? Fourth sister has set up her own company. You should have heard about this a long time ago. But you should know what kind of person your seventh sister is. Fourth sister is not in the Xing family now, and without the protection of the Xing family, our seventh sister sent someone to oppress her. Fourth sister was so angry that she was hospitalized. Isn't that what you want? After hearing that, Grandpa Xing looked at Xing Minghui. What did you do to fourth sister this time? Grandpa, do you believe everything Xing Xiao says? It doesn't matter if he believes it or not. Fourth sister is out there and in a bad situation. Her fiancé was stolen and sold by her grandfather. Do you think she would rather die than go back to the Xing family when she's so hurt? There's no point in talking about this. Grandpa Xing would believe seventh sister in the end anyway. If that's the case, let fourth sister die outside, everyone will be happy. What nonsense are you talking about? Grandpa Xing slammed his fist on the table. Don't pretend to love fourth sister in front of me. Don't you know that your seventh sister is a person who bites the hand that feeds her? Fourth sister humiliated her at her engagement party. Do you think she would let her go? Xing Xiao sneered. You're the only one in the Xing family who believes in her nonsense. With that, Xing Xiao served the dishes to Mu Qiqi and stopped talking about Xing Minglan. But Grandpa Xing kept it in his heart and asked seventh sister, did you ask someone to cause trouble for your fourth sister? Grandpa, tell me. You know the consequences if I find out. Grandpa Xing pointed at seventh sister with his walking stick. Seventh sister was so frightened that she stood up and took 2 steps back. I just asked my friend to take care of fourth sister. I didn't want to hurt her. Come here. Grandpa Xing said calmly after getting the answer. Grandpa, come here. Grandpa Xing beckoned with his finger. Chapter 303. Xing Minghui was shocked. Grandpa, how could you do this to me? If you can do this to your fourth sister, why can't I do the same to you? Grandpa Xing raised his voice and asked Xing Minghui in return. There's no room for discussion. I'd like to see what else you can do to use the Xing family to do whatever you want. Xing Minghui lay on the floor and looked at everyone at the dining table. Then, she burst into tears. All of you only know how to bully me. All of you bully me. Xing Xiao had been eating elegantly from start to finish. He did not even want to look at Xing Minghui. Mu Qiqi looked at Xing Xiao and held his hand. She felt a little more at ease. Little one, what are you afraid of? I'm not afraid. I'm just a little emotional. She and Mu Tangxue had been like this before. Of course, she should not only see the negative side. After all, there were many people around her who treated her wholeheartedly. Xing Xiao, ask the people in Huangyao to take care of Minglan. That was more like a human. When Xing Minghui heard that, she got up from the ground and ran back to her room in tears. And because of Xing Minghui's behavior recently, Grandpa Xing had started to consider if he should let her take over the planning department after the VVIP night of Huangyao. How could such a vicious and narrow-minded person lead a team? Now, he could not estimate her ability. Even if she graduated from a prestigious university. When the time comes, she might not even be a tenth of Mu Qiqi's ability. That would be embarrassing. But deep down in Grandpa Xing's heart, no matter how hateful Xing Minghui was, she was still his granddaughter. But Mu Qiqi was not. So, even if Mu Qiqi was outstanding, she would not get such a good thing. Xing Minghui was beaten up again during dinner. Although she was engaged to Will, she still stayed with the Xing family. Because she knew that Grandpa Xing would not consider her after leaving the Xing family. She would not be as stupid as Xing Minglan. Later, Grandpa Xing asked Mu Qiqi a few questions about the event. But Mu Qiqi easily brushed them off. She was always wary of the old man. Grandpa Xing knew that Mu Qiqi was wary of him. So, he stopped asking. This little thing was quite vigilant. In any case, Xing Xiao had achieved his goal of going home for dinner. Although he knew very well that Xing Minghui would hate him even more, it did not matter. In the end, it was either her or him who would die. The next day, Grandpa Xing secretly went to the hospital to visit Xing Minglan. He was very uncomfortable when he found her on an 4-drip. Xing Minglan was too soft-hearted. She would not say a thing even if she was bullied. What surprised him even more was that old seventh could actually be so ruthless to his elder sister. Xing Minghui. Because of this, Xing Minghui had to stay in bed for 2 days. Her temper was bad and she did not eat for 2 days. When the servant came to comfort her, she said, "If I die, all of you will be happy." Grandpa Xing was furious. He went to Xing Minghui's room to visit her. "If you continue to do this, I will consider changing the person in charge of the planning department. My love for you has been destroyed by your evil actions. You can choose if you want to continue. I can pretend that I never had you as my granddaughter. All the love I have for you has been erased by your vicious actions. Do you want to continue or do your part? Make your choice. At worst, I can pretend that I never had a granddaughter like you. Then don't play any tricks. When Mu Qiqi is done with the event, you can go and get the credit. Then, everyone will be happy. What's there to be unhappy about? Then don't play so many tricks. Once Mu Qiqi's event is over, you can go and claim the credit. Then, everyone will be happy. What else are you dissatisfied with? Then don't play any tricks. When Mu Qiqi is done with the event, you can go and get the credit. Then, everyone will be happy. Why are you not satisfied?" Xing Minghui held back her anger. She nodded. "Grandpa, I was wrong. I was wrong. I will listen to you. Grandpa Xing did not know that the servant was standing at the door with the food. Xing Minghui's door was not closed. When the servant heard this, she quietly pulled Mama Xing aside after delivering the meal to seventh sister. Then, she told Mama Xing everything that they had talked about. Mama Xing was the only one in the family who was respectful and friendly to the servants. So, she could get help from the servants. It was the same when she went to Grandpa Xing's room to look for the medicine. Mama Xing's face changed when she heard that. She was prepared for it. She knew that Grandpa Xing wanted to humiliate Muchichi. But she did not expect that Grandpa Xing would steal the fruits of a 19-year-old girl. That, she could not accept it. Mama Xing hesitated again and again. She paced back and forth in the house countless times. Because she was weighing in her heart whether she should tell Xing Xiao about this. It was not until night time that she made up her mind. She called Xing Xiao. Xing Xiao, I know why your grandfather asked Muchichi to plan the VVIP night in Huangyao. I saw the change in the planning department. The leader has left, leaving behind a difficult task. Of course, I have to find someone to take over. Otherwise, when Xing Minghui comes in and the event fails, she, as the person in charge of the planning department, would not be able to convince the others. Xing Xiao smiled. You know about it. Mom, do you think I'm easy to fool? Xing Xiao asked. Do I need to think about it? Does Muchichi know? She, doesn't need to know. I will not let that happen. Moreover, Chi, is only doing the event. She is a forensic doctor. I will not force her to do anything she doesn't like. Mama Xing nodded. Since you're prepared, I'm relieved. That seventh sister is getting worse and worse. Her hatred for you and Xiaoqi should be as deep as the sea. Although I don't want to see you kill each other, I don't want you to give in either. Because she's a piece of trash. Mom, no one can touch Chi, or you when I am here. Alright then. You should rest early. Mama Xing was relieved now that Xing Xiao knew about it. She would not let her daughter-in-law suffer. Grandpa Xing wanted to enjoy the fruits of her labor. How could there be such a good thing in the world? Of course, eighth brother's thoughts were also meticulous enough. He could see through the situation and know what the old man wanted to do. Xing Xiao hung up the phone. He looked down at the little one who was sleeping in his arms. It was good enough for his little one to clean up the mess. Grandpa Xing was still not satisfied. Chapter 304. Out of guilt towards Xing Minglan, Grandpa Xing asked Xing Xiao to inform the people of Huangyao to take care of her new company. So, those who had fooled Xing Minglan before all turned around and apologized. Not only did they come to negotiate the contract, they even invited Xing Minglan to dinner. Actually, Xing Minglan did not ask for that. She would be satisfied as long as Xing Minghui did not cause trouble. Now that the negotiation of the contract was going smoothly, she had the urge to go on a date with Jing Yun. After all, Jing Yun had done his best so that she would not be disturbed by the Xing family. Now that there was no such problem, she naturally had to think about her own personal matters. Late at night, they were working overtime. Xing Minglan finally saw Jing Yun putting away his documents. She got up from her desk and walked to him. Let's have supper together. Jing Yun looked up at Xing Minglan. He did not refuse. Sure, but I have to bring you somewhere first. Xing Minglan nodded. She was even a little happy. She thought that Jing Yun might have been enlightened. But when they reached their destination, Xing Minglan was suddenly puzzled. Because it was just an ordinary roadside stall. Miss Minglan, you have never eaten something like this before, have you? As a young lady of the Xing family, she had always been pampered. That was why Jing Yun brought her here. But, I used to beg around here before I went to the Xing family. Xing Minglan looked a little embarrassed. You are always like this. You pull us apart like heaven and earth. Because it is the truth. Jing Yun turned around and looked at Xing Minglan. Miss Minglan, although you have freedom now, what will the chairman do if he knows that you are with me? My life will only be more miserable. I am just an ordinary person. I don't want to be destroyed. So, I hope you can put your heart on someone else. Xing Minglan felt as if her heart was being cut by a knife. Fine. You have hurt me. Although I've thought about what you've said, if one day grandfather finds out, I'll bear the consequences with you no matter how he treats you. But, since you're afraid, I have nothing else to say. Go back. After all, you don't really want to eat supper. Jing Yun's throat was burning, but he did not speak. After Xing Minglan got into the car, she had even less desire to speak. She looked out of the window, and after a while, she said to Jing Yun, you should go back to Xingshao. Not only that, but she also took out the gold card from her purse. I don't need your charity. I feel that since you don't want to face it, then there's really no need for us to meet. It'll just make us sad. Jing Yun was stunned when he saw the golden card. So, she knew everything. Just drop me off at the entrance of the apartment. I'll hire an assistant tomorrow, so you don't have to report in. Jing Yun took a deep breath. He parked the car in front of Xing Minglan's new apartment. She quickly got out of the car. Jing Yun looked at the gold card. She had finally regained her freedom. He did not want to ruin it for her. When she got home, she gave Xingshao a call. I've talked to Jing Yun tonight and told him not to come tomorrow. Don't tell him anything about me from now on. If he can't open his heart, don't force it. Xingshao nodded. Xingshao frowned when he heard that. What was Jing Yun hiding in his heart? Did he have to torture her like this? All right. Since it's your decision, I'll do as you say. Good night, Xingshao. Mu Qiqi heard their conversation and knew that Jing Yun was still unwilling to be with Xing Minglan. She could only sigh. Maybe we're not fated to be together. It can't be helped if he wants to be like this. Xingshao hugged Mu Qiqi. The next morning, Jing Yun went to Huangyao to report in. Xingshao did not show any unusual reaction, but he was very disdainful of Jing Yun. What kind of sadomasochistic love are you playing? Young master, what are you afraid of when I'm here? Xingshao asked in return. I'm telling you, fourth sister called last night and told you not to pay attention to her in the future. Otherwise, it'll be difficult for everyone. By the way, I've returned fourth sister's gold card to you, right? Jing Yun nodded. That's right. The young lady of the Xing family pursued you and was rejected. You've got guts. Jing Yun tilted his head and said nothing. I'm warning you, fourth sister is trying to tell you that you've missed your only chance to open her heart. No matter who she meets in the future, it has nothing to do with you. If you want to continue being an ascetic, then go ahead. I'd like to see how long you can last. How retarded was this blockhead when it came to love? There was actually someone in this day and age who was willing to endure a silent unrequited love. Idiot. Go to the planning department and help with the VVIP night. I don't want to see you for the time being. Jing Yun left Xingzhao's office dejectedly at those words. Soon, Grandpa Xing learned about Mu Qiqi's plan for the VVIP night. After all, Huang Yao belonged to him. It was easy for him to know about the event beforehand. Of course, Xingshao did not intend to hide it from him. Since he knew the old master's purpose, he would openly show the old master how ingenious the plan for this event was. Grandpa Xing read the plan. Of course, he could not find anything to nitpick. He also believed that Mu Chichi had done it all by herself. Because Xing Xiao's style was completely different. A 19-year-old girl's work was so creative. He didn't know if she was too smart, or if she was just lucky. Whatever the case may be, the old man was even more wary of Mu Chichi. After all, there would be other women by Xing Xiao's side in the future, and it would be even more difficult to deal with her if she was too smart. Moreover, Xing Xiao alone was already a headache. No matter what, this credit must not be given to her in the end. This way, the outside world's recognition of her would increase. Although he was not satisfied with Xing Minghui, she was still a Xing. He could not let an outsider take advantage of her. After the VVIP night of Huangyao, he would announce that Xing Minghui would be the head of the planning department. Because she was the biggest contributor to the success of the event. It was just a few days. So, he would let Mu Chichi be arrogant for a few more days. Chapter 305. Shenrui. Shenrui was the manager of this bar. To be frank, she just wanted to learn how to flirt with men. After all, she had yet to get close to the young master of the Xing family. Minghui. Why are you drinking here? Shenrui took a glass of wine and sat in front of her. It's all because of Mu Chichi and Xing Xiao. Let's not talk about it. Then, Xing Minghui drank another glass of wine. Didn't you just get engaged? Why are you having a hard time? It's hard with that bitch Mu Chichi around. Xing Minghui snorted. She did the same thing in the Shen family. So, the three of us were chased out in the end. What do you think? Do you want to form an alliance? Well, I have something to ask of you. I have something that I want to achieve. How do you want to form an alliance? Introduce your eldest brother to me. I will help you to deal with Mu Chichi. At least, she won't be able to enter the Xing family as long as we are here. Shenrui went straight to the point. Do you know why I'm suffering here? It's so that I can enter the Xing family one day and fight with Mu Chichi. Are you kidding me? My eldest brother is married. Isn't there a lot of womanizing going on outside? If so, what's the difference if I join him? Shenrui gave her her phone number when she saw that Xing Minghui did not want to join. Call me when you have made up your mind. Anyway, you still have to suffer some losses before you know how powerful that little bitch is. Shenrui did not say anything else. After all, she could not simply find a mistress for her eldest brother. What would happen if Grandpa Xing knew about it? Her grandfather already hated her enough now. If she didn't keep her place, she would never be able to step into Huang Yao's door. So, Xing Minghui forgot about Shenrui after she returned to the Xing family. When Grandpa Xing saw her coming back drunk, he said angrily, "Are you going to take over the planning department of Huang Yao like this?" "Grandpa, I'm just not feeling well. From tomorrow onwards, stay at home and read the documents. You don't have much time." Everything was ready for the VVIP night. She just had to wait for that night to avenge herself. After the preparations were done, the staff of the planning department strongly requested for Mu Chichi to go to Huang Yao for one last meeting with everyone. If anything unexpected happened, they would be able to react accordingly. Now, the people in the planning department seemed to have recognized Mu Chichi's method and her ability. However, Grandpa Xing did not intend to let Mu Chichi interfere with the VIPs of Huang Yao anymore. Even though he knew that the planning department needed it, he could only ask Mama Xing to appease them. When Xing Minghui heard about it, she took the initiative to ask Grandpa Xing. "Grandpa, since the event is almost ready, can you let me take a look at the venue and show my face? Just leave the meeting with the staff to me. Anyway, I will be there on the day of the event. It will be good for everyone to get to know each other." Grandpa Xing thought about it and felt that Xing Minghui was right. So, he nodded and agreed. If that's the case, you can go to the planning department for the last meeting. Have you read the proposal in detail? Yes, Grandpa. The planning department received a reply from their superior. They would indeed hold a final meeting before the event. But they did not know that the person who would hold the meeting was Xing Minghui. When Mama Xing heard about it, she could not help but smirk. She said to the secretary, for the smooth progress of the event, bring Xiao Qi here before the meeting. Do you not trust Miss Minghui? Why not? But, just let her go during the meeting. Just wait and see. She is a half-baked person. She will only be despised by the staff in the planning department. When the time comes, I am afraid that Xiao Qi will be the one holding the fort. I understand, madam. The secretary nodded. Mama Xing had watched Xing Minghui grow up in the Xing family. How could she not know what she was capable of? Did she want to take the credit of others just like that? It would depend on whether she had the ability or not. When Mu Qiqi reached home, she heard about it from Xing Xiao. She frowned. Are we going to have a head-on conflict with that woman again? If there is a chance to slap her, why not? Xing Xiao asked her. Moreover, you are the one who planned the event. Will you feel comfortable if someone criticizes your plan on the eve of the event? In the end, the credit will fall into someone else's hands. Won't you be angry? Xiao Xiao, don't tell me that this is Grandpa Xing's evil plan. Mu Qiqi immediately understood the deeper meaning of Xing Xiao's words. You mean it, don't you? Xing Xiao chuckled and pinched Mu Qiqi's nose. My little one, you are so smart. Then, of course I will go. I will not let Grandpa Xing have his way. Then, before the meeting, Mom's secretary will come to pick you up. Mu Qiqi nodded. She thought that this old man was really evil. How could he use such a trick to bully a 19-year-old girl? Was he not afraid of being laughed at? On the other hand, Xing Minghui was very excited because she could enter Huangyao soon. As a young lady of Huangyao, she was destined to be a high-ranking official once she entered. In addition, with the credit, the people of Huangyao naturally did not dare to complain too much about her. But in fact, it was not as good as she thought. After all, Huangyao relied on its ability. Although the planning department had not done anything in recent years, it was because they were overcautious and had too many concerns. The meeting was scheduled for the afternoon 2 days later. And Xing Minghui had already asked a luxury store to send her the latest professional suit of the season. When Grandpa Xing saw it, he could not help but snort coldly. Although she was not capable, she had quite the style. But, as she was the young lady of the Xing family. So, he let her be. 2 days later, in the afternoon, Xing Minghui arrived at Huangyao in a luxury car in a white professional suit. The people in Huangyao had already received the notice that Xing Minghui was coming for a meeting with the planning department. So, no one dared to neglect her. At the same time, Grandpa Xing also revealed that Xing Minghui and Mu Qiqi were the ones who planned the VIPs of Huangyao together. Otherwise, Mu Qiqi would not be convincing at her age. The people in Huangyao were in awe of this soon-to-be manager of the planning department. As expected of the young lady of the Xing family. She is indeed extraordinary. So, Miss Minghui was the one who planned the activity room. Like I said, Mu Qiqi is only 19. How impressive. She did not even ask for credit. Miss Minghui is so low-key. Chapter 306. At this moment, the people in the planning department sat up straight. They were looking forward to seeing Mu Qiqi again. They wanted to know what kind of advice she could give them. But the person who entered the meeting room was the 7th daughter of the Xing family, Xing Minghui. Everyone put down their pens and looked at each other. What kind of trick was the higher-ups playing this time? Xing Minghui quickly sat down on the main seat. She quickly adjusted her mood and greeted everyone. Hello, everyone. I am Xing Minghui. I will be taking over the planning department soon. So, I will be the one holding the meeting today. Where is Miss Mu? She will not come to Huangyao anymore. After all, Grandpa gave her a small task. She has completed it. So, she will retire. I know that this is the last meeting of the event. If you have any questions, just ask. The people in the planning department looked at Xing Minghui. But they could not say anything. The event was about to start. How could they send a stranger to them and ask them to listen to her? Miss Minghui, forgive me for being straightforward. Do you know the process of this event? I am the one who made the proposal. What do you think? Or else, do you think a 19-year-old girl like Mu Qiqi could come up with such an interesting thing? Xing Minghui did not blush at all. She took the credit for the proposal. But the people were not convinced. Since you are the one who made the proposal, why didn't you explain it to us? Why did you let Miss Mu attend the meeting? Because I was busy with other things. You are really busy with stealing your sister's fiancé. Some people rolled their eyes. Well, since you said that the proposal was made by you, we all believe you. Next, Miss Seven, please answer our questions. This time, what's the best way to present the jewelry that eldest young Master Lu gave to Madam at the Heartwarming show? How should we divide the guests of the two main venues? What should we use? Age? Oh, right. We will use a Lincoln limousine to welcome the guests. What kind of red wine should we use for them? I have another idea. Xing Minghui was stunned after hearing the questions from the staff. Do you need to welcome the guests? They have their own chauffeurs. Since the plan was made by you, Miss Seven, why didn't you know that the two home games couldn't be leaked in advance? Therefore, we arranged for them to be picked up personally because we couldn't leave the address of the event on the invitation, and we also had to ensure that the guests would arrive at the venue accurately. Xing Minghui became nervous when she heard that. She had only glanced through the proposal. Who would want to admit that a 19-year-old girl could come up with something earth-shattering? I forgot, it's okay, we can help you remember. Now, Miss Seven, please make the arrangements. We are all waiting. Xing Minghui felt guilty. So, she took out the event plan and started reading it. But the audience knew very well that she was not the one who made the plan. How could someone who had made the plan forget their own arrangements? Was he trying to steal the credit? Xing Minghui just sat there for a long time without moving. Because she could not answer those questions. She thought that she was here to listen to the report and show off. Seventh young lady. Seventh miss. You've been flipping through the proposal book for almost half an hour. The staff of the planning department reminded her. If you can't answer those questions, then, let's let Miss Mu do it. Think carefully. I am the one in charge of the planning department in the future. Xing Minghui's point was immediately pointed out. She was the one in charge. Then, it was fine if they did not keep the planning department. It would be worse than before. Then, please answer our questions. At this moment, the door of the meeting room was pushed open by the secretary. Then, Mu Qiqi walked in. Everyone's eyes brightened when they saw her. Miss Mu, you are finally here. Miss Mu, when Xing Minghui saw Mu Qiqi, she stood up immediately. Who let you in? Get out. Mama Xing stood in front of Mu Qiqi when she heard her. I am here. How dare you ask anyone to get out? You admit that you are not capable enough. You even spread the news that you are the one who planned this event. Xing Minghui, you are really shameless. You, Miss Mu, since you are here, please help us to solve these small problems. We are not sure. Mu Chi-Chi looked at their questions and answered them one by one. This set of jewelry is priceless. Of course, we will let the guests see it. Then, we will let First Madam wear the jewelry in front of everyone's envious eyes. Then, we will let Eldest Lu appear. Then, age is only one part of the criteria for the two home stadiums. The statistics department has an analysis of their consumption. You can determine which home stadium they belong to based on the jewelry they bought, whether they are young or traditional. Then, make a list and send someone to pick them up. Don't prepare red wine in the car. Xiao Xiao has a cooperation with a perfume company. Prepare a set of high-class perfume to suit the nerves and put a copy of the event schedule in the box. This will achieve the effect of advertising and save some money. After all, what they want to know the most is the information about the jewelry. After listening to Mu Chi-Chi's arrangement, everyone was convinced. The whole department burst into applause. Xing Minghui looked gloomy. Yes, yes. Actually, I want to say that too. Xing Minghui quickly added. But, who would believe her? Everyone just rolled their eyes at her in contempt. Xing Minghui, the company is not a place for you to play. You can be arrogant at home and no one can control you. But now, you are in the company. If you treat this as a game, then I advise you not to waste everyone's time. Mama Xing walked to Xing Minghui and said, there is a meeting in the planning department. Do you want to stay? Grandpa asked me to attend this meeting. She is just an outsider. Eldest aunt, you have to understand that this is the business of the Xing family. All right. Then, you can help the planning department to solve the following problems. Mu Chi-Chi threw the problem in front of Xing Minghui. If you can solve it, I will leave immediately. Otherwise, I can go to the Xing family and look for Grandpa Xing. I will see who he will help this time. It's not a big deal. I won't lose anything anyway. Are you threatening me, Mu Chi-Chi? If you don't know anything, then please shut up. Why don't you call Grandpa Xing and ask him to attend the meeting? Don't think that I don't dare to. I didn't ask you to come today. You barged in without permission. Mu Chi-Chi, wait for Grandpa to teach you a lesson. Then, Xing Minghui took out her phone and dialed Grandpa Xing's number. Grandpa, you should come to Huangyao quickly. I am being bullied to death. How shameless. Chapter 307. When Grandpa Xing heard Xing Minghui's aggrieved voice, he thought that the people in the planning department were too daring to disrespect the young lady of the Xing family. So, he immediately left Xing Mansion, intending to rush to Huangyao as soon as possible. On the other hand, Xing Minghui looked at Mama Xing and Mu Chi-Chi provocatively after she finished her call. Grandpa is already on his way. He will reach Huangyao soon. I would like to see how you are going to explain this to Grandpa, eldest aunt. Mama Xing and Mu Chi-Chi looked at each other. Then, she looked at the rest of the people in the planning department. She did not say anything but maintained her smile. Indeed, it was time for Grandpa Xing to have a look. He wanted to see how his good granddaughter was in this meeting room. It was true that she was the young lady of the Xing family. But, she really did not have any ability. Miss Mu, will you be all right when the chairman comes later? The staff of the planning department looked at Mu Chi-Chi worriedly. Of course. Xing Minghui snorted. Really? Let's wait and see then. Mu Chi-Chi winked at her, telling her not to worry. About 20 minutes later, Grandpa Xing finally arrived at Huangyao. He went straight to the door of the meeting room. When Xing Minghui saw him, she immediately took Grandpa Xing's hand and started to complain first. Grandpa, you are the one who asked me to host this meeting, right? But, eldest aunt still brought Muchichi here. She doesn't respect you at all. Mama Xing and the people in the planning department rolled their eyes. Why did the meeting end up like this? Did Xing Minghui really not know? Grandpa Xing looked at Mama Xing with a sharp gaze. I arranged this, Xiao Qin. Okay, Dad. I know you arranged this. But, if seventh sister could continue with the meeting, Muchichi would not be here. Mama Xing said straightforwardly. Mom, since Grandpa is here, let's go out. We don't want to disturb seventh sister's meeting. After all, there are still many things in the planning department waiting for seventh sister to solve. Muchichi quickly stopped Mama Xing. There was no need to find trouble with Grandpa Xing in such an occasion. He could do whatever he wanted. Okay. When Xing Minghui saw that, she immediately said to Grandpa Xing, Grandpa, you're the best. I couldn't chase them away no matter how hard I tried. Everyone sneered, and Mama Xing left the meeting room with Muchichi. Xing Minghui was finally satisfied. But it did not mean that Grandpa Xing did not see the expressions of the staff in the planning department. Since Muchichi and Xiao Qin are gone, let's continue the meeting. I'll stay here and watch over you. The old man said as he walked to a seat. Seventh brother began to panic. Grandpa, you're here. I'm nervous. It's okay. You'll get used to it sooner or later. Let's start. You guys can start too. With Grandpa Xing's instructions, the planning department continued with the questions. Miss Mu, you have solved 3 of them just now. Let's move on to the next one. We talked about the warmth theme just now. Now, let's talk about the fashion theme. Miss Mu, you mentioned that you want to use this opportunity to promote Huang Yao's new products. But what should we focus on? Because everyone knows that Huang Yao has a lot of new products. It's impossible to bring out all of them. The publicity department doesn't dare to make a rash decision. Miss Chi-Chi, what do you think? Seventh sister was stunned. Her body stiffened. She looked at the staff in the planning department and then at Grandpa Xing. Then, she smiled awkwardly. Well, and, although the VVIP Night of Huang Yao has a fixed time every year and almost everyone in Jianchuan knows about it, the publicity department still asked if we should come up with a new way to promote it this year. After hearing the second question, seventh sister froze on the spot again. She even looked at Grandpa Xing for help. Grandpa Xing knew what was going on. He remained silent for a while. Then, he said to the staff in the planning department, get Muchichi here. Grandpa. Seventh sister was shocked. Grandpa Xing did not say anything. He just sat on the spot with his walking stick. After a while, Muchichi came in. Of course, she knew what was going on in the meeting room. Muchichi, you will be in charge of this meeting. Grandpa. Seventh sister stomped her feet. She wanted to walk out of the meeting room. But Grandpa Xing scolded her. Just sit in your seat. You don't need to go anywhere. Xing Minghui blushed. She could only sit on her seat unwillingly. Miss Mu, these are the last 2 questions, Muchichi nodded after reading it. Huang Yao does have a lot of new products, but they are not suitable to be advertised on the VVIP platform because they are already on the market. In other words, anyone with money can buy them. This is not attractive to the rich ladies who contribute a lot of money to Huang Yao every year. Muchichi nodded. Why is it limited to the whole world? That's because they want to be respected. They want to be able to enjoy things that others can't. So, the direction of the promotion is the new products that will be released in the next quarter. It is not yet in the market. This way, we can warm up the new products and ensure the sales of the next quarter. The staff in the planning department nodded. Understood. As for the publicity, Huang Yao has set a fixed time to let everyone know that these few days are Huang Yao's event days. With Huang Yao's current status, it doesn't seem like we should waste this money, but only the top 50 people participate in the VVIP night every year. But are there only 50 rich people in Jianchuan? Moreover, I have seen the name list. These 50 people don't change much. Don't you want new blood to join? As for the new products that I've set up, I'm calling out to those who haven't joined the VVIP night to spend more next year. Only by joining the VVIP night will you be able to enjoy the latest products of the year and become the most honorable symbol of Jianchuan. So, the promotion is not for the general public. It is to remind those who are not in the top 50 that they should work harder. This is also the goal of the VVIP night. So, do you think we should promote it? After Mu Chichi finished, the staff in the planning department could not help but clap. This little girl was really amazing. She had set the direction for the VVIP night. This way, they would not have to worry about it in the future. Grandpa Xing listened quietly and clapped too. But what about seventh sister? She was so guilty that she did not dare to look Grandpa Xing in the eyes. How could she be so shameless? Chapter 308. You don't think that I don't know that Xing Xiao taught you all these. Otherwise, how could you know so much about dissecting corpses? Miss Minghui, that's impossible. The people in the planning department immediately denied Xing Minghui's words. You should know that we have just sorted out these problems before the meeting. Unless the Crown Prince can predict the future. Enough. At this time, Grandpa Xing stood up and sneered. Why are you still arguing? You are a finance graduate from a prestigious university. How can you be compared to a girl who plays with a scalpel? I was so confident that you could lead the planning department well. Now that I think about it, maybe I am an old fool. Grandpa. No, I am not like this. If I had not tried, would not have known that the granddaughter I am so proud of is like this in the company. This old face of mine has been completely thrown away by you today. Grandpa Xing stood up straight and took a deep breath. You still have the cheek to call me and say that you were bullied. If I were you, I would hide under the table. Do you know that? Grandpa. Xing Minghui quickly reached out to hold Grandpa Xing's hand. But Grandpa Xing shook her off. It seems that you are not suitable to enter Huang Yao. Don't interfere with the planning department's affairs in the future. Grandpa. Give me another chance. I will perform well. Xing Minghui panicked and quickly held Grandpa Xing's hand. Grandpa Xing did not look at Xing Minghui. Instead, he looked at Mama Xing who was standing at the door. If she wants to enter Huang Yao, arrange a job for her as a typist. Let her start from scratch. A young lady of the Xing family becoming a typist? Wasn't that even worse than killing Xing Minghui? How could she endure such humiliation? Grandpa, you will regret this. After saying that, Xing Minghui ran out of the meeting room in tears. Grandpa Xing's expression did not change, but he could not do anything about it. Before he left the meeting room, he said to Xing Minghui, finish this meeting and this event. Then, go back to your school. Grandpa, I let seventh sister know so much today and made her feel humiliated. She will definitely take revenge. I don't care, but I can't guarantee whether she will leak the news in advance. The painstaking efforts of the planning department and the publicity department are all in this. Grandpa Xing was aware of that. After all, even if he disliked Mu Chichi, he would not joke around with Huang Yao. Moreover, the event this time was of utmost importance. If old seventh really dared to do this, she would definitely cripple this granddaughter of hers. Don't worry, she can't do it. With that, Grandpa Xing left Huang Yao. Today was a lesson for him. His face was swollen after being slapped by seventh brother. He thought that even if seventh brother was a dabbler, he should know something. However, when he saw seventh brother acting like a yes man just now, he knew how stupid his decision was. After Muchichi's adjustments, the status of the planning department would definitely rise and become more and more important in the future. The minds of these employees seemed to have been activated by Muchichi and gained new creativity. Since that was the case, of course, he would not let seventh sister be the person in charge. At the same time, he really saw Muchichi's ability and creativity. This was not something that Xing Xiao could teach. The people in the planning department were all excited when they saw that Muchichi was finally recognized. Miss Mu, let's continue. There is not much time left, Muchichi nodded. This time, she could sit down and have a peaceful meeting. Xing Minghui drove around angrily. Grandpa Xing sent the chauffeur to follow her. Because from this moment on, all her actions must be strictly monitored. Xing Minghui hated Muchichi. But there was nothing she could do. She was slapped in the face in public. Grandpa Xing was still on Muchichi's side. What could she do? Sooner or later, she would cut Muchichi into pieces. Soon, the news of the meeting spread in the company. Before this, Grandpa Xing wanted to ask Xing Minghui to take away Muchichi's credit. But after the meeting, the people in the planning department and the publicity department had become Muchichi's water supply. Whenever someone said that Xing Minghui was the planner of the event, they would be attacked like a hornet's nest. What planner? If she is really the planner, how could she not know anything in the meeting? She is the Xing family's Miss Minghui. Was she adopted by the Xing family? Why is she so different from the others in the Xing family? Look at the crown prince. Look at Madame Xing and the others. This Miss Minghui is simply a good-for-nothing. Isn't that right? She still wants to take away other people's credit. She needs to show her ability first. Groups after groups of people were laughing at Xing Minghui in the company. At the same time, the people from the other departments were also curious about how exciting the event in Huangyao was. Why did this group of people agree with Muchichi so much? Wherever Xing Xiao passed by, he could hear praises for his little one. It was imaginable that his little one had gained a lot of attention in the meeting. After this incident, he thought that Grandpa Xing would not hand over the planning department to Xing Minghui for the time being. Xing Minghui did not want to go home. She had nowhere to go. So, she went to the bar where she drank last time. Of course, she also thought of Shenrui. Shenrui had made a bet that she would lose to Muchichi. She did not expect that it would come true so soon. At that time, Shenrui said that if she could help Shenrui get to know her eldest brother, Shenrui would help her to deal with Muchichi. When Xing Minghui thought of Muchichi's proud face in the meeting today, she could not bear it anymore. She said to the bartender, "Find manager Shen. You are too fast. I thought you would still be able to hold on for a while." Shenrui walked out of the inner court and sat beside Xing Minghui. "What is it this time? Are you going to promise me as long as I promise you?" Xing Minghui asked Shenrui. This time, she had made up her mind to fight Muchichi to the death. Of course. Shenrui nodded. "All right, there's something I need you to do for me." Muchichi's guess was right. To deal with her, Xing Minghui was willing to sacrifice the event and the benefits of Huangyao. She just wanted to embarrass her. "I can't do that. You have to be my matchmaker first. Anyway, I won't be able to run away when I meet your eldest brother. Why are you so anxious?" Chapter 309. It's a deal. They reached an agreement quickly. But, Xing Minghui did not know that her every move was under Grandpa Xing's surveillance. The driver sent by Grandpa Xing returned to Xing Mansion after he took a photo of them. Then, he reported to Grandpa Xing in the study. "Chairman, this is the photo I took. I found out that Miss Minghui is in contact with this woman." Grandpa Xing's face changed when he saw the photo. Humph. What good can they do when they are together? What should we do now? Keep a close watch on her. Although I don't like Mu Chichi, this event will bring Huang Yao many times more profits. So, Minghui must not be a hindrance to this event. It's time to arrange a place for her. Grandpa Xing had been very lenient to Xing Minghui. But this girl had not changed at all. He had listened to Mu Chichi's arrangements at the meeting today. He had to admit that her event was the most creative one Huang Yao had in recent years. If it could be carried out smoothly, Huang Yao's revenue for the next year would be immeasurable. If Xing Minghui was not broad-minded enough, she would definitely go against Mu Chichi. Then, he had no other choice. In life, one had to give up something. Grandpa Xing called Xing Xiao after he knew that the two women were in contact with each other. Although they never got along well, Xing Xiao was happy to see Qi-er's enemy. Xing Minghui and Shen Rui are in cahoots. I don't know what they are planning. You must keep an eye on them. Don't let them spread the news. Also, send someone to keep an eye on the Liu family. Keep an eye on those two first. Mu Chichi could not help but sigh when she knew about it. Shen Rui is still dreaming. I wonder what kind of deal they have made. If you want to know, just keep an eye on them. Xing Xiao lowered his head and looked at the little one. He smiled when he saw that she was playing with the simulated heart. You are getting more and more hardcore these days. Are you afraid? Mu Chichi put the heart in front of him and smiled. Xiao Xiao, I will touch more limbs and maggots in the future. Can't you stand it now? Are you provoking me? Xing Xiao put down the model in her hand and slapped her butt. Are you hinting that I should bathe you a few more times a day? I don't want it. Mu Chichi resisted. Let me go. I want to continue my research. Just sit on me. Mu Chichi did not refuse. After all, it was more comfortable than sitting on a chair. Moreover, Xing Minghui was digging her own grave now. If this continued, Grandpa Xing would not be able to stand her. Not very soon, but she couldn't take it anymore. After Xing Minglan refused Jing Yun's help, she spent a lot of money to hire an all-round assistant. Although he was not someone she liked, he was still very capable. Although she would sometimes think that it was a pity to miss Jing Yun, what could she do if the door to his heart remained closed like that? The two of them worked very well together, and Xing Minglan gradually trusted this new assistant. Soon, the two expanded their business overseas. Xing Minglan also decided that she would attend the conference abroad in person, and this time, she and her assistant were the only ones on the trip. If things went well, she was prepared to stay abroad for half a month, so that she could change her mood. Moreover, she did not tell anyone that she was leaving Jianchuan. To avoid contact with Jing Yun, she did not even have time to call Xing Xiao now. Mu Chichi had thought that she could visit fourth sister when she had the time, but she only found out that she had left the country when she reached her office. And she was going with the new assistant. Moreover, the new assistant seemed to have good qualifications. More importantly, he was also single. What if they got to know each other for a long time and fell in love with each other? Jing Yun was really making people anxious. After returning home, Mu Chichi sat on the sofa and sighed. Jing Yun's blockhead was really infuriating. Xing Xiao found Mu Chichi dejected when he got home, and guessed that she was worried about someone else's matter again. Xiao Xiao, say, why does Jing Yun have to live so restrained and tired? A handsome assistant has appeared by Sister Four's side. If he still doesn't make a move, Sister 4 will belong to someone else. Can't help it. It's a dead end. I really want to piss him off, or I would be angry for nothing. Isn't that simple? The next day, Xing Xiao deliberately mentioned Xing Minglan's new assistant in front of Jing Yun. It's lucky that you're not staying by fourth sister's side anymore, or she wouldn't be able to get to know that golden assistant. Let's see when they get married. Jing Yun said nothing, but his heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. His body and mind had never been so exhausted after so many years. During this period of time, he had been working overtime to forget the pain. But when young master mentioned it so casually, his wound was torn open again. Xing Xiao could tell from his back that the fellow was very upset. Even so, he was the one who asked for it. Still, it was rare that Jing Yun fell sick the next day, and took a day off to rest at home. Why was he so insistent if he couldn't stand the agitation? Mu Qiqi suddenly sympathized with Jing Yun when she learned about it. You actually made him sick, who can he blame for working day and night? Xing Xiao couldn't help snorting coldly. Should we tell fourth sister? Consider it as giving them one last chance. I'm too lazy to help. If we don't help them, no one will. Mu Qiqi hugged Xing Xiao's arm and said, I'll send a message to fourth sister. Xing Xiao was too lazy to care about her. Mu Qiqi took out her phone and sent a message to Xing Minglan. She told her that Xing Xiao had told Jing Yun that there was a possibility for her and the new assistant to continue their relationship. She was so angry that she fell sick. Xing Minglan had just finished her meeting. When she saw the message, she couldn't sit still anymore. She asked her assistant to buy a ticket back home. But it's night time now, don't we have a night ticket? Xing Minglan was really anxious. Maybe she was afraid that Jing Yun would misunderstand her, or maybe she was worried about Jing Yun's health. No matter what, she was eager to go home. Although the assistant did not understand, he still did as he was told. Judging from Xing Minglan's reaction, she must be doing it for her lover. On the other hand, Xing Minghui didn't know that she was under Grandpa Xing's surveillance. She went to the bar at night and met Shen Rui. Chapter 310. That's the best. Shen Rui nodded. You can tell me what you need me to do after I meet your eldest brother. It's a deal. Xing Minghui wondered how her eldest sister-in-law would feel if she knew what Xing Minghui had done. Perhaps, he even had the intention to kill her. That night, it was already 11 o'clock when Xing Minglan returned to Jianchuan. But she did not have time to change her clothes. She asked Xing Xiao for Jing Yun's address and drove there. Jing Yun was too tired and his stomach was not feeling well. Although he had taken the medicine, he still had a fever. Xing Xiao's words were the main reason why he was in such a bad mood. How could a person be invincible? Soon, Xing Minglan arrived at Jing Yun's house. Although she was still hesitant, she still pressed the doorbell bravely. Jing Yun endured the pain and got off the bed. When he opened the door and saw Xing Minglan, he was shocked. Before he could show any expression on his sick face, Xing Minglan already knew that he was very sick. Miss Minglan, Xing Minglan heard his hoarse voice. She reached out and touched his forehead. When she found that it was burning, she pushed him into the room. Why don't you go to the hospital? How long have you been burning? I'm fine. Jing Yun defended himself. If you keep burning, you will become stupid. How can you be fine? Where's the thermometer? Jing Yun lay back on the bed and pointed at the thing on the bedside. Xing Minglan took it and ordered him. Open your mouth. Jing Yun did not move. I asked you to open your mouth. Jing Yun was helpless. He opened his mouth obediently. 2 minutes later, Xing Minglan saw the thermometer explode. You don't think of yourself as a human. Let me find the medicine for you first. Then I will lower your temperature. Seeing Xing Minglan getting up, Jing Yun reached out and grabbed her. Why don't you run away after I let you go? Xing Minglan got rid of Jing Yun's grip and answered him. Just take it that I'm a slut tonight. How could you be a slut to me? He didn't know if it was because of his illness, but he lost some of his water chestnuts and became much cuter. Don't say anything else. If you keep this up, it will be really serious. Having said that, Xing Minglan found the first aid kit and gave Jing Yun a strong antipyretic. But his stomach wasn't feeling well now. If the medicine was too strong, his stomach would definitely feel uncomfortable. So, for a moment, he was in so much pain that he curled up into a ball. Xing Minglan sighed and helped him up. Then, she gave him a massage. Why torture yourself like this? You have a new assistant. Yes, I have a new assistant. I need someone to help me, explained Xing Minglan. Will you like him? Don't you know who I like? If I didn't like this person, I would have rushed back from abroad. I haven't showered for 2 days. I just finished a meeting in the afternoon and I heard that Xiaoqi said that you were sick. I couldn't sit still. But I'm glad that I'm back. Otherwise, are you planning to die alone in the house tonight? Xiaoqi's face turned red. That's right. Fourth miss, don't call me fourth miss. Xing Minglan was a little angry. Although I'm the young lady of the Xing family, he ignored me when I took the initiative to pursue him. Jing Yun couldn't stand the pain anymore. He grabbed Xing Minglan's hand. Can you be quiet for a minute? Xing Minglan immediately stopped talking. But after a while, she couldn't bear it anymore. Let's go to the hospital. We don't have much money. Or, should I ask the doctor to come? Jing Yun didn't say anything. He fainted from the pain. Because of the pain, he became weaker. His immune system became weaker and his fever wouldn't go down. Xing Minglan was helpless. She could only call the doctor and ask him to come quickly. The night passed just like that. And Jing Yun's fever only went down in the morning. Xing Minglan was really tired. She leaned on the sofa and fell asleep. When Jing Yun woke up and saw his beloved in front of him, he suddenly felt that it was a strange dream. Soon, Xing Minglan woke up too. Seeing Jing Yun's eyes wide open, she was no longer angry. Are you hungry? Jing Yun shook his head. Does your stomach still hurt? Jing Yun shook his head too. I'll make you some porridge. Having said that, Xing Minglan got up. But Jing Yun suddenly grabbed her and pulled her into his arms. You're so cunning. Why did you attack me when my will was at its weakest? Xing Minglan hugged Jing Yun back. Who asked you to be so weak? I don't want to see you with your new assistant. Do you think I would be with him just because he's an assistant? Xing Minglan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Our relationship has been built for more than 10 years. Ordinary people can't compare. Jing Yun was finally relieved after hearing Xing Minglan's words. Can you let me go now? Jing Yun slowly let go. But it was obvious that there was less wariness in his eyes. There was more affection. Xing Minglan got up and went to the kitchen to make porridge for Jing Yun. This man was really too passionate. If he didn't want her to be with other men, he could have just said it. But he kept everything in his heart and made a mess of himself. He asked for it. But no matter what, Xing Minglan knew that Jing Yun had opened up a little to her and was not completely resistant. Although he would still be on his guard when he encountered sensitive issues in the future, she believed that she would have more courage after today's response and move on. Come to think of it, that sly Xiaoqi was really popular. That morning, Jingyun fell asleep again after having his porridge. It was only then that Xing Minglan found a chance to call Muchichi. That piece of wood's fever has subsided, fourth sister. Is there anything different about that piece of wood that's sick? Xiao Qi. Muchichi held back her laughter. If that's the case, I won't go see Jing Yun in the morning. You guys continue. Xing Minglan blushed all the way to her neck. Muchichi could imagine how enchanting it must have been when they were together last night. Finally, her efforts were not in vain. Fourth sister had come to his house in the middle of the night. If Jing Yun could still hold himself back, he would really be inhuman. While Jing Yun was asleep, Xing Minglan wandered around his house. He did not take anything away from the Xing family except for the gifts. They would be there wherever he was. Moreover, the gold card she returned to Jing Yun had been dismembered by Jing Yun. To him, if the money could not help Xing Minglan, it would be useless to him. How could there be such a stupid person in this world? Xing Minglan took out some transparent glue and stuck the gold card back on. Chapter 311. When he woke up, he put on his handmade suit and planned to report to Huang Yao. Xing Minglan was a little angry when she saw him coming out of the bedroom. Your fever hasn't subsided yet. I'm already feeling much better. Besides, I only took a day off yesterday. You've been working day and night all these years. How much leave does eighth brother owe you? Xing Minglan was a little unhappy. Rest for one more day before you go back. What about you? Isn't the company busy? There's a new assistant. Didn't Jing Yun dislike her new assistant? That was why Xing Minglan sounded a little awkward when she mentioned the new assistant. As expected, Jing Yun was stunned for a moment, but he still did not plan to rest. I'll accompany you to the company. You work, I'll rest. But how can I rest well in a place like the company? To me, not working is resting. Let's go, I'll send you back to change your clothes. Xing Minglan felt that something was not right, but she did not reject him. Yesterday, she had rushed to Jing Yun's house anxiously. They had just negotiated a deal, and they had yet to finalize it. When we get to the company, you don't have to worry about anything. Just rest. Can you do that? Jing Yun nodded. Xing Minglan only left with Jing Yun after she was satisfied. She did not let Jing Yun drive. It was still dangerous for someone who had taken the medicine. They arrived at the company in the afternoon. When the employees saw Jing Yun following Xing Minglan, they wondered if Jing Yun was coming back to help their CEO. But when Jing Yun entered her office, he sat down at her rest area and leaned against the wall lazily. Xing Minglan glanced at him and asked someone to buy a blanket for him. Then, she gently covered him with it. When the new assistant saw that Xing Minglan had returned to the company, he took the contract and knocked on her office door. When he entered and saw that there was someone in the lounge, he was stunned. Chief Xing, this is the contract. Leave it. Is there anything else? I also need you to look through my schedule for the next few days. All right, leave it here too. I'll take a look later. Xing Minglan's attitude towards work was obvious. Naturally, she had no personal feelings towards her new assistant. After hearing that, Jing Yun was relieved and fell asleep on the sofa. Wasn't a man such a creature? He was trying his best to identify the things that were dangerous and threatening to him. For the rest of the day, Jing Yun rested while Xing Minglan busied herself. When it was time to knock off, the two left the new company. On the surface, they appeared no different from usual. But the problem was that Jing Yun did not do anything when he came to the company today. He simply slept in Xing Minglan's office. Do you think Chief Xing and Special Assistant Jing are a couple? They've been together for more than 10 years. It's normal for them to be a little intimate. Don't you think that Special Assistant Jing came to the company today to announce his status? When they were in the parking lot, Xing Minglan heard the employees talking about their relationship. She blushed at once. When Jing Yun said that he was going to the company to rest, she thought that he was going to accompany her. However, after being reminded, she felt that Jing Yun really did have a purpose for coming here. Could it be because of the new assistant? Was he jealous? The car is here. Let's go. Jing Yun did not smile the whole time. Even though he was being talked about, he did not seem to care. Still, Xing Minglan had questions in her mind. Jing Yun was the driver on the way back. Xing Minglan sat beside him. Jing Yun gave people the feeling that he was always restrained and steady. So, she felt a different sense of security when she was with him. It was different from when she was with Xing Xiao. It made her feel very secure. Even so, she still had to ask what she had to ask. Jing Yun, what is our relationship now? Jing Yun turned to look at Xing Minglan and said, young master always says that Miss Chi-Chi dragged him into hell. But he was never at the entrance to hell. I am the one who is sure that it is me. I just hope that you won't regret being with me. Even if the chairman wants to deal with me one day, I will try my best to protect you. If Chi-Chi can stand by Xing Zhao's side, why can't I? Xing Minglan said firmly. As long as you don't run away. With those words, Xing Minglan hugged Jing Yun's right arm. Of course, it was under the condition that she did not interfere with his driving. That night, it was a good show that Xing Minghui had arranged. She arranged for Shen Ruoyi to join her eldest brother's dinner. Well, as her eldest brother, it was a common thing for him to flirt with women. Of course, after all these years, big sister-in-law's heart had already been broken. Now, the two of them were practically having their own fun. But the big sister-in-law had a principle. Her fun was not the same as a man's fooling around. She simply loved to travel, but she would never go out to find a man and embarrass elder Mo. After all, even if they were to get a divorce, she would still be able to stand firm. But, as she had never expected that Xing Minghui would introduce a mistress to her husband. Because eldest brother Xing was mixed blood. So, his appearance was very attractive to women. It was also his natural capital. And when eldest brother Xing wanted to cooperate with him, he must find a beautiful woman as his companion. So, Xing Minghui arranged for Shen Ruoyi to be with a group of beautiful women. When eldest brother Xing saw Shen Ruoyi, he was shocked. After all, she was the daughter of the Shen family. Why would she come to a hotel to accompany a guest? Ruoyi, you, Shen Ruoyi walked to eldest brother Xing and said, you're here to have fun today. So, don't ask me why I'm in this situation. Brother Xing, please buy me. Otherwise, someone else will buy me. According to seniority, eldest brother Xing was Shen Ruoyi's uncle. But the age difference between them was not convincing. Eldest young master Xing thought for a while. Shen Ruoyi's body was very beautiful under her revealing clothes. He could not just watch Shen Ruoyi being molested. So, he nodded. All right. You can sit next to me. Shen Ruoyi had learned a lot of new things in the bar recently. She especially learned how to make a man happy. Eldest brother Xing did not have those thoughts. He just met someone he knew. However, Shen Ruoyi's faint touch and her fragrance were stimulating eldest brother Xing. Soon, Grandpa Xing knew about it. When he saw the photo, he was furious. How shameless. How slutty. How could she do such a thing to her own brother? Chairman, what are you going to do now? Chapter 312. But nothing happened that night. Eldest brother Xing respected Grandpa Shen. So, he would not do anything to Shinroi. He only promised that he could arrange for Shinroi to stay in the apartment under his name. To put it bluntly, this was similar to keeping. Soon, eldest brother Xing returned home. Old Xing glanced at him, but did not show any sign of abnormality. He simply wanted to see if eldest brother was so lustful that he would touch the granddaughter of a family friend. Of course, Grandpa Shin would also send someone to inform the Shin family. Although Shinroi was chased out of the Shin family, she was still a descendant of the Shin family. If this matter was spread out, the Shin family would be in trouble. As for Xing Minghui, he decided to find a time to gather the whole family. Most importantly, he still did not know what the deal between Xing Minghui and Shinroi was. Xing Minghui was completely unaware that she was now under Grandpa Xing's control. She felt that she had fulfilled Shinruoi's wish. So, she wanted Shinroi to reward her. Help me leak the news about Huang Yao. Tell them that there will be 2 main venues for the VVIP event, and that the 2 wives of the Liu family will be separated. Knowing how much eldest madam hates youngest madam, she will not just sit back and watch. She will definitely think of a way to embarrass youngest Madam Liu. Let's see how Mu Chi-Chi will be able to act so arrogantly in front of me then. After Shinroi heard that, she felt that Xing Minghui had gone all out. Even an outsider like her knew how important Huang Yao's VVIP night was. You're too ruthless. If I don't do that, how can I make Mu Chi-Chi pay the price? We can't publicize this matter. We only need to let Dr. Liu know about it. Xing Minghui told Shinroi over the phone. I've fulfilled your wish. Now, let's see your performance. But, would Shinroi really have the chance to get close to the Liu family? Apart from the old man's men, Xing Xiao and eldest Liu were also on guard. She wanted to see eldest madam. He would probably have to wait until his next life. However, she still agreed verbally very quickly. Minghui, let's help each other from now on. I'll definitely help you handle this matter beautifully. Unfortunately, the 2 of them colluded with each other and tried their best to come up with a solution. However, in the eyes of smart people, they were just lab rats that could be pinched to death at any time. 2 days later, when Mu Chi-Chi saw Jing Yun again, he was the one who came to deliver the documents to Xiao Xiao. From his face, one could still see that he was pale, but he was in good spirits and seemed to be a lot more relaxed. Look at you, didn't you ask for it? If you had confessed your feelings earlier, you wouldn't have gotten sick from Xiao Xiao's anger. Miss Chi-Chi, Miss Minglan is the jewel of the Xing family. I don't know if she would be able to endure the life if the chairman were to attack her in the future. I don't want her to suffer because of me. Mu Chi-Chi pouted impatiently and shook her head. What do you think Grandpa Xing can do to you with Xiao Xiao around? I don't want to add to young master's burden. Why did you follow Xiao Xiao for so long? Isn't it because he has the ability to protect whoever he wants? Jing Yun stopped talking. At the end of the day, it was because he cared too much. So, are you 2 not fighting with each other anymore? Is 4th sister your girlfriend now? Mu Chi-Chi asked the person in question. But Xing Xiao grabbed her by the collar and dragged her back. Little one, you women should ask other women about this kind of thing. Oh. Mu Chi-Chi behaved herself. Jing Yun blushed a little. He passed the documents to Xing Xiao and said softly, we have confirmed our relationship. Mu Chi-Chi was so excited when she heard that. Well done. We will form an alliance against Grandpa Xing in the future. 4th sister must be very happy. Jing Yun did not change much. But Mu Chi-Chi knew that the blockhead was secretly happy. Young master, the chairman intercepted these things this morning. Jing Yun was afraid that it would be awkward. So, he quickly changed the topic. Xing Xiao opened the documents and smirked. Xing Minglan is courting death. Moreover, this matter is related to the Shen family. Take a look. Xing Xiao passed the documents to Mu Qiqi. Mu Qiqi took the documents and was shocked. Is Shen Rui crazy? What does she want to do? Miss Qiqi, you don't know this. The young master of the Xing family has many women. Shen Rui is doing this because she wants to use him to attack the Xing family. Or, she is doing this for you. Seventh sister is really reckless. I have never seen a sister like her. She introduced her eldest brother directly. Mu Qiqi could not finish her words. Because it was difficult to say it. If this matter is exposed, the reputation of the Sheng and Shen families will be ruined. I have to go back and meet father and grandpa. As for seventh sister, Xing Xiao turned around and looked at Mu Qiqi. He said, I am afraid that Grandpa Xing is going to put righteousness before family. He will not pay too much attention to the conflicts between brothers and sisters as long as it is not too ugly. But, seventh sister is harming the interests of Huang Yao. That is Grandpa Xing's bottom line. What will Grandpa do? Let's wait and see. Shen Rui tried to contact the people of the Lu family. But, she failed. Grandpa Xing's connections were certainly not a joke. But, the two of them were still feeling proud of themselves. Jing Yun, go to the Lu family. Pretend to be a member of the Lu family and reply to Shen Rui. Tell her that First Madam has already known about the VVIP night of Huang Yao. Let's see what they are going to do next. I will arrange it. Jing Yun nodded. If the two of them were to do anything, they would be destroyed by Grandpa Xing. Shen Rui received the reply from the Lu family very soon. Eldest Lu had already known about Huang Yao's evil plan. They had deliberately set up 2 stages to separate her and that little SL*T. She would not let it go so easily. She would definitely cause trouble for Huang Yao. Shen Rui showed the result to seventh sister. She pretended to take credit. Do you know how much effort I have put in and how many tricks I have used to contact this First Madam? In order to thank me, can you also tell me the whereabouts of your big brother? I will tell you later when I find out. Seventh sister was very satisfied with the result. She was waiting for eldest Lu to show up so that she could slap Mu Qiqi in the face. What was so great about the most creative event? Chapter 313. Because it was related to the Shen family's reputation, Mu Qiqi went back to Shen Mansion in the afternoon the next day. Not only that, she was surprised to find that Shen Jianchuan had returned home. Grandpa Shen had hired a professional physiotherapist to help Shen Jianchuan. So, he did not need to go to the hospital anymore. When Grandpa Shen was fishing in the pond, Shen Jianchuan could accompany him and talk to him. It was as if they wanted to make up for the regret they had. They always had a lot to talk about. Grandpa, Dad. Grandpa Shen turned around and saw Mu Qiqi. He smiled. My precious granddaughter is back. Actually, Mu Qiqi did not want to talk about third uncle's family in front of Grandpa Shen anymore. If it was not because Shen Rui had become eldest brother Xing's mistress, she would not have been able to talk about it. Do you have something to tell Grandpa? Shen Jianchuan could see through his daughter's mind. Although I don't want to make Grandpa angry, I think I should tell you about it. Mu Qiqi took out the picture of Shen Rui dressed in a trench coat and together with eldest brother Xing. I don't know what she is planning. But I don't want anyone to know about it. Grandpa will be criticized. Grandpa Shen put down his fishing rod and took the picture. He looked angry. Animal. She is an animal. Grandpa, if you agree, let me handle it. But no matter what I do to Sister Rui, you can't say anything. You can't be soft-hearted or feel sorry for her. Grandpa Shin took a deep breath. He could not do anything to Shinrui. So, he nodded. I have nothing to say to her now. Just do as you see fit. Shao Qi, you have grown up. You don't have to tell me about this. I will stand by your side no matter what. I know, Grandpa. Let's not talk about this. I will accompany you to go fishing. I will stay at home for dinner. You, among all the children in the Shin family, Grandpa Shin only trusted Muchichi. Although she was only 19 years old, she was more farsighted than most of the adults. She was brave enough to break the rules. Grandpa Shin was still a little uncomfortable with Muchichi and Xing Zhao's seniority. That night, Muchichi had a very happy time at the Shin residence. But when she returned to Jingting, she found that Xing Zhao was deliberately ignoring her. Muchichi climbed onto his lap and wrapped her arms around his neck. What's wrong? Sulking. The Shin family treats you very well now. Does it make you feel more at home? What are you talking about? Aren't you being petty? I just stayed in the Shin family for a while. It's not worth it for you to make a fuss about it. You used to be very clingy to me. I'm very attached to you now too, Muchichi said and pressed her head against his chest. Look, I'm stuck to you. I promised your father that I would let you live happily in the Xing family, but I'm living a happy life. Mom and fourth sister treat me very well. As for the others, they all treat you that way. I'm just an outsider. I don't expect anything from them. I'm already very satisfied with my current life. Muchichi said as she rubbed up and down on his chest. He was a man after all. No matter how arrogant he would still have his period for a few days. Muchichi could understand it. After a while, Muchichi opened one of her eyes and looked at Xing Zhao. She asked gently, Are you not angry anymore? What's the use of rubbing my chest? Muchichi's face turned red when she followed Xing Zhao's gaze. Pervert. And Xiao, I've thought of a way to deal with Shinrui. It can solve the problem once and for all. Xing Zhao put down the documents and held Muchichi's waist. Then, he walked to the bedroom. What are you doing? You can say what you want. I'll do what I want. Grandpa Xing's men found out that one of the properties under eldest brother Xing's name was empty. It was specially used to settle Shinrui down. If eldest brother Xing was not selfish at all, he should have told the Shin family after settling Shinrui down. But, he did not. What did it mean? Grandpa Xing knew very well that his son had an ulterior motive. Although he had an ulterior motive, he did not meet her immediately. So, Shinrui had to get eldest brother Xing's schedule from Xing Minghui. Eldest brother Xing was not a fool. He would only approach the forbidden fruit after he was sure that the surroundings were peaceful. Muchichi had thought of a way to deal with Shinrui. So, she told Xing Zhao about it. Xing Zhao patted Muchichi's head after he heard about it. It's easy. Grandpa Xing will not reject it for the sake of his relationship with the Shin family. Moreover, it was related to the reputation of the Xing family. Muchichi's idea was to let Grandpa Xing catch them in the act when they met. Then, she would get the evidence and hand it over to her grandfather. Then, Grandpa Xing would arrange for Shinrui to join the army. She wanted her to join the army before she passed the age limit. If she refused, the media would expose those photos to the public. It was the last bit of mercy she could give to Shinrui. It was also the only chance for Shinrui to turn over a new leaf. After all, it was the Shin family. Grandpa Xing certainly did not want to deal with this hot potato. So, he agreed to Xing Zhao's suggestion. Then, he asked his secretary to find out eldest brother Xing's whereabouts. There were still 2 days left before the VVIP night of Huangyao. Eldest brother Xing felt lonely after he finished his work. Then, he thought of Shenrui who was staying in the villa. So, eldest brother Xing drove to the villa at night. At the same time, Grandpa Xing called Xing Minghui over. I saw your eldest brother going out just now. Your sister-in-law is not at home. Let's follow him and see where he went. Xing Minghui was stunned when she heard that. She said quickly, Grandpa, I don't think it's a good idea. There's nothing bad about it. I will ask your aunt and the butler to come along. They are all elders. You are a junior. It's just right. Grandpa, there's nothing else to say. Let's go now. Xing Minghui was very nervous. Her palms were sweating. She wanted to send a message to Shenrui. But, Grandpa Xing had seen through her intention. He said to her, Give me your phone. I know your eldest brother treats you very well. It's inevitable that you will want to send him a message. Xing Minghui was reluctant. But, she still took out her phone and passed it to Grandpa Xing. Let's go now. Xing Minghui followed behind Grandpa Xing. But at the same time, she felt a chill down her spine. Grandpa Xing saw eldest brother Xing leaving with his own eyes. How would he know where eldest brother Xing went? Wouldn't it be too late to follow him now? And the reason why Grandpa Xing could do that was because he knew where eldest brother Xing was going. Chapter 314. Moreover, Grandpa Xing had invited her. That meant that Grandpa Xing might not only know about Shenrui. He might even know that she was in cahoots with Shenrui. Xing Minghui started to sweat when she thought about it. Minghui, are you not feeling well? Mama Xing asked even though she already knew the answer. It was because she knew that Xing Minghui was feeling guilty. There was no other reason. No. No. Xing Minghui smiled embarrassedly. I'm just feeling a little hot. Just bear with it. We'll be there soon. Grandpa Xing looked at her coldly. Obviously, Grandpa Xing had leaked the news on purpose. He wanted to see Xing Minghui's reaction. He wanted her to be afraid. At the same time, Xing Xiao received a message from Mama Xing in Jingting. She was on the way to catch the adulterer with Grandpa Xing. I want to join in the fun too. But if I show up, I will definitely provoke Shenrui. Don't worry. I will take a clear picture. You will feel like you are there. Go to hell. Xing Xiao's words made Mu Qiqi laugh. Not long after, they arrived at the villa. At that moment, the lights in the villa were actually from the living room. They hadn't reached the bedroom yet. The butler will knock on the door later. Because Grandpa Xing would never let Xing Minghui get close to the villa and inform the people in the house. Yes, Grandpa. In the room, Shenrui was making supper for eldest brother Xing. She had waited so long for this man to show up. Of course, she had to seize the opportunity. Ever since she moved into the villa, she had been wearing revealing clothes. It was because she did not know when eldest brother Xing would attack her. For example, tonight. Eldest brother Xing looked at Shenrui from behind. He was excited. Eldest brother, it's almost ready, it's okay. Take your time. I'm not in a hurry. Eldest brother Xing said thoughtfully. Soon, Shenrui walked to eldest brother Xing with a bowl and a pair of chopsticks. She touched the man's body. If it weren't for you, I would have become a prostitute. You are Uncle Shen's granddaughter, this is what I should do. Eldest brother. Shenrui held eldest brother Xing's hand. I don't know how to repay you. Why don't you marry me? Then, I'll feel more at ease. I'm willing to be your lover. I don't want you to divorce me or marry me. This If it wasn't, would you despise me? How could eldest brother Xing hold back when a beauty was in his arms and she was the one who threw herself at him? So, he pulled her onto his thighs. The two of them had been harboring thoughts in their hearts to begin with. Once the fire was ignited, it naturally couldn't be stopped. The lights in the living room quickly turned on to the bedroom. At this time, Grandpa Xing also signaled to the butler, "Go." Xing Minghui's heart was pounding when she saw the butler getting out of the car. The butler kept ringing the doorbell downstairs, which made the people who were in the middle of passion very impatient. So, when eldest brother Xing opened the door in his pajamas, he was very angry. "Who is it?" The butler immediately stepped aside. Eldest brother Xing's expression changed when he saw Grandpa Xing behind the old butler. "Grandpa, why are you here?" "Minghui, walk in front." Grandpa Xing didn't care. He asked Xing Minghui to clear the way. After all, it was a woman inside. As an elder, it was not appropriate for him to do so. "Grandpa, I'm the only one inside. There's no one else." "Butler, stop him." "Xiao Qin, go upstairs and look for her." Grandpa Xing entered the living room of the villa and ordered. Mama Xing nodded and went upstairs. At this moment, Xing Minghui's heart was already in her throat. Then, a scream came from upstairs. It was because Shenrui was naked in the bedroom. She could imagine how intense the two of them were just now. And when she heard the scream, Xing Minghui knew that Shenrui was doomed. Soon, Mama Xing went downstairs and brought Shenrui, who had already put on her clothes. Then, she walked to Grandpa Xing. Eldest brother Xing quickly explained when he saw that. "Father, it's not what you think. Are you trying to tell me that a man and a woman are alone in a room and you are just talking about poems?" Grandpa Xing sounded very angry. "Bastard, are you still a human? You are not looking for anyone. You are not stealing from anyone. Why are you looking for the Shen family? Ha! Is this something you can do? Father, I think you have to cure this problem of yours. Xiao Qin has the evidence about what happened tonight. She will share it with the Shen family later. If I find out that you are fooling around outside, you will lose your identity as the eldest young master of the Xing family." Grandpa Xing threatened. Eldest brother Xing knew that Grandpa Xing was very angry. So, he could only give in. After all, he had caught Shenrui in bed. What about Shenrui? She lowered her head and knelt on the floor. She did not have the face to look at Grandpa Xing. "Rui, you are a lady from a respectable family. Why did you do such an outrageous thing?" She was caught in bed. It would have been better if she was caught by eldest brother Xing's wife. But, it was Grandpa Xing. He was an elder. What else did she have at this moment other than shame and anger? Just like how she was wearing clothes now. But, it was no different from not wearing anything. Shenrui looked up and saw Xing Minghui. Her eyes were filled with hatred. "Xing Minghui, why did you tell me? Did you want to kick me away after using me?" Xing Minghui's face turned green when she heard that. "It has nothing to do with me, you are a member of the Shen family. It is not easy for me to deal with you. So, I will pass these photos to your grandfather." Shenrui, among the noble families, even the little girl from the Lu family is better than you. Because you treat yourself as a prostitute. I did not expect that you would have designs on eldest brother. You are even willing to be eldest brother's lover. You will be the sinner of the Xing family for doing such a shameful thing. As long as you are in the territory of the Xing family, you will not be spared. But, you have to go through Grandpa Xing first. After all, no matter how bad you are, you still have the blood of the Shen family. She was caught red-handed by Grandpa Xing. Shenrui knew that she might not have a chance to make a comeback in this life. She thought that she could still stir up some trouble. But now, it seemed that she was just a piece of meat on someone else's chopping board. Xiao Qin sent Shenrui back to the Shen family with the butler later. Grandpa Sheng, can you let me go? Shenrui knew that she was going back to the Shen family. So, she quickly looked up and begged. Chapter 315. Xing Minghui was stunned when she heard that. She knelt down on the ground immediately. Grandpa Xing glanced at her and said, "It's not too late to kneel down when we get home. Eldest brother, change your clothes now and go back to the Xing family. We will settle the score tonight." Xing Minghui felt as if she had been struck by lightning when she heard that. Because she had a feeling that Grandpa Xing would not let her go so easily this time. Soon, Grandpa Xing brought eldest brother and Xing Minghui back to the Xing family. The rest of the Xing family also received the news that Grandpa Xing wanted all the Xings in Jianchuan to be present tonight. So, it was not hard to imagine how serious this matter was. Xing Minghui knelt in the living room of the Xing family like a sinner. The rest of the Xing family, including Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi, came to the Xing family. Xing Minghui's father was present. But he could not do anything to his daughter. So, he just let her be. After all, he still had a son. So, he did not find it strange that Xing Minghui was kneeling in front of him. He could only look at her coldly. Xing Minghui kept crying. But, even the gods could not save her this time. About an hour later, the living room of the Xing family became quiet. Because everyone was looking at Xing Minghui. "Eldest brother, come out first." Eldest brother sighed helplessly. He walked to Xing Minghui and faced Grandpa Xing. "Grandpa, this person. This is the one. He is so daring. He could have any mistresses. Do you know who he is fooling around with?" "With Shenrui. Xing Xiao is unmarried." "I don't mind. But how long have you been married? Being lecherous is not the limit. After all, this bastard has done many affairs over the years. But, can you use your brain? You are being tricked by your own sister and you don't even know it. Why do you think Shenrui came to you? Because she knows that you are lecherous. She knows that you are easy to fool. What happened today is a reminder to you, eldest brother. If you do anything wrong to your wife, don't ever appear in front of me again. I can't afford to lose my face." It was the first time that his private life was mentioned in front of so many people in the Xing family. But, it also meant that Grandpa Xing could not stand it anymore. Therefore, the eldest could only admit that he was unlucky. "I understand, Grandpa. Get lost if you got it. Let's settle the score with this idiot today." Grandpa Xing turned to Xing Minghui. Then, he walked up to seventh sister, pinched her chin and asked her, "What were you thinking? Why would you introduce a lover to your brother? Is your brain damaged? Or are you blind? Are you sick?" Grandpa Xing asked as he patted Xing Minghui's face. "Introducing mistresses to my brother. How did you do that?" In Xing Minghui's eyes, there was only fear and horror. "You still want to contact the Lu family? You even leaked Huang Yao's secrets? If it was in the past, I would have strangled you to death. You're lucky to be born in a society ruled by law. Xing Minghui, how many chances have I given you? Ever since you brought a woman home for eighth brother, I've noticed that your way of thinking is very strange. Can you tell me what's wrong with you?" Xing Minghui couldn't stop sobbing. She cried so hard that she couldn't control herself. Meanwhile, the Xing family simply watched, and could only watch. "What's wrong with me? I even wanted to hand over the planning department to you. But what did you do? Are you worthy of all the years of training I've given you? Xing Minghui sobbed. She could only hug Grandpa Xing's leg tightly. Grandpa, I'm wrong. I'm really wrong. It's because Mu Chi-Chi always went against me. That's why I was bewitched. That's why I did such a stupid thing. It's not that Mu Chi-Chi went against you. It's just that you can't bear to see someone better than you. Grandpa Xing corrected her. Xing Xiao looked at Xing Minghui coldly. Then, he held her hand. It was rare for the old man to speak a word of justice. Grandpa, it's not like that. I really didn't do it. I did it for the Xing family. You leaked the information about Huang Yao for the Xing family. Xing Minghui could not argue back. So, she hugged Grandpa Xing's leg tightly. However, Grandpa Xing shook her off completely. What right do I have to be your grandfather? Did I teach you to betray your brother and your family? Everyone is here today, including Xing Minghui's father. The Xing family cannot tolerate this person anymore. I don't want to see her ever again. So, I've asked all of you to come here today. I want all of you to know that this person is officially removed from the Xing family. In the future, if I find out that any of you are related to this person, don't blame me for being merciless. Xing Minghui was stunned when she heard what Grandpa Xing said. She couldn't say a word because she knew that it was useless to beg for mercy. So, she turned around and looked at Mu Chi-Chi with extreme hatred in her eyes. Mu Chi-Chi, you set me up, didn't you? You told Grandpa about it, didn't you? Butler, pack her things now. Send her out of the Xing family tonight. Other than her clothes, don't let her take anything from the Xing family. Not even a piece of cloth. Yes, master. The butler left immediately. He did not give Xing Minghui any chance. Then, the butler went to Xing Minghui's room. Seeing that there was nothing she could do, Xing Minghui sat on the floor helplessly. She looked around at everyone in the Xing family, including her father. Father, please save me. Her father just sat where he was and waved his hand. How could he not be upset? But was there any use in being upset? When Xing Minghui saw that she could not plead with the person closest to her, she finally turned her gaze to her enemy, Mu Chi-Chi. Mu Chi-Chi, please save me. I was wrong. I shouldn't have gone against you. Mu Chi-Chi looked at Xing Minghui kowtowing and begging. She felt emotional. That was the path of humans. When you lost your conscience and made a deal with the devil, you should have thought of this day. You've just left the Xing family. You still have your hands to support yourself. Your sorrow now is because you are about to lose your glamorous appearance and luxurious life. Why do you want me to save you? You're still alive. Soon, the Xing family who had been watching the show left the hall. Then, the butler took Xing Minghui's luggage and came to her side. Miss Xing, please. Eldest brother Xing was scared when he saw Xing Minghui's tragic ending. This was the limit of Grandpa's patience. Of course, Mu Chi-Chi did not think that she had one. Because one day, she might get the same treatment as Xing Minghui. When Grandpa Xing found a suitable wife for Xiao Xiao. But she would not end up like Xing Minghui. There is no need for him to care about an outsider. Moreover, they are not in the same battle zone. Huang Yu was stunned for a moment. She realized that Grandpa Xing was actually very black-bellied. But, Dad, can this change Shenrui completely? Does it matter whether I change it or not? Since she has entered the army, she won't be able to come out easily in the future. All in all, one young lady from the Xing and Shen families was sent out of the house in different ways that night. They could not touch or hit the evil people. What else could they do? They could only throw them out and let them die by themselves. In this way, the two elders could be considered to have one less thing to worry about. The one who came up with the idea was Muchichi. So, Grandpa Xing suppressed his hatred for her for the time being. He gave her a special privilege. She could dress up and attend the VVIP night in Huangyao. Actually, Muchichi wanted to see the result of her plan. She wanted to know if young Master Lu could get his wife back. So, when Mama Xing told her the news, she was very happy. At the very least, old Xing was not being too cruel when he exploited her. In the evening of the next day, Grandpa Xing ordered Shenlin to send Shenruoi to the designated recruitment point to attend the selection of female soldiers. Shenruoi wanted to run away when she saw Shenlin was the one who sent her. After all, she thought that Shenlin could not control her and was not as smart as her. But Shenlin was not the same Shenlin who was hurt by Yu Jing. After he received the task from Grandpa Xing, he packed up his things that night. Before they left, he warned Shenruoi. "I won't stop you if you want to run away. But I will send those photos to the media. You are not a man at all. How dare you threaten a woman? You are a woman. But you are a promiscuous woman." Shenlin looked at Shenruoi coldly. "Don't talk nonsense with me. If you want to run away, just run away. If not, just listen to me." What else could Shenruoi do? After all, Grandpa Xing had something on her. She had no other choice but to listen to him. Shenlin seemed to be helping Muchichi. So, he spent a lot of effort to take care of Shenruoi on the way. Soon, the car reached a higher altitude. It was far away from the hustle and bustle of the city. This time, Shenruoi finally knew that Grandpa Xing was going to send her to the ends of the earth. If it was in the ancient times, it would be considered as an exile. Now that Shenruoi was not in Jianchuan and she would not see Xing Minghui again, Muchichi felt much more relaxed. The next morning, Muchichi woke up. She wanted to look for jewelry that she could wear tonight. But she found the birthday gift that Lu Qianqian gave her last time in the drawer. She opened it and saw all kinds of sexy condoms. She did not know where did Lu Qianqian get them from. Muchichi blushed. She quickly kept the box. But Xing Xiao saw it when he walked out of the bathroom. Xing Xiao held her hand and couldn't help smiling. "Let's try it tonight. I didn't know that Qianqian would give me these." Xing Xiao pulled Muchichi to the bed and put her between his legs. He looked at her and said, "That's because Lu Qianqian knows what you need." "I don't need it." "I think you need it." "Yes, it's what I need." Xing Xiao held Muchichi's head and kissed her forehead. "I will come back to pick you up in the evening. Let's go to the heartwarming place tonight." "Okay." Muchichi nodded. Chapter 317. There were only 2 young ladies in the Xing family. Now that Xing Minghui was completely chased out of the family, Grandpa Xing naturally thought of bringing Xing Minglan home. And Will, who had just been engaged to Xing Minghui, knew that his fiancée had become a pauper with nothing. Even if he was infatuated with her body, he would never marry her for real, although he could play around with her. That was why he went to Xing Mansion the next day and asked to cancel the engagement. Naturally, Grandpa Xing would not force it since she was no longer with the Xing family, and so agreed to Will's request. However, Will shamelessly asked the old man if he could re-engage with Xing Minglan. He had dumped her on the night before the engagement, and now he was eyeing Xing Minglan. Get lost. That was all the old man said to Will. Foreigners would always be foreigners. They had no sense of ethics. Grandpa Xing would never betray Xing Minglan again. Even so, he did want his granddaughter to return to him. Even so, would Xing Minglan be willing to come back now that she had her own company? Of course not. Moreover, Xing Minglan was with Jing Yun now. Even if they could only see each other once a day, she would be content and filled with happiness. That was how they agreed that Jing Yun would pick Xing Minglan up from the company after work at Huangyao. They would have dinner together, and Jing Yun would send Xing Minglan home to rest. Sometimes, Jing Yun would appear in the morning, such as now. Even if it was so simple, Xing Minglan treasured the time she could spend with Jing Yun. She would tell him about the company's situation, and take the chance to take advantage of him. Jing Yun obviously knew what she was trying to do, but he was very cooperative and never showed any signs of impatience. Sometimes, Xing Minglan would take the initiative to ask for a hug even on the streets. Perhaps she had been deprived of love for too long, or perhaps it was because Jing Yun's body smelled too good. Xing Minglan came up with countless such excuses for herself. Now that seventh sister is out of the family and there's no young lady in the Xing family, I have a feeling that Grandpa wants me back. But I don't want to go back at all. You could come out and work if you go back. That's different. If I wanted to see you, I wouldn't be so unscrupulous. Xing Minglan sounded a little sad. Jing Yun tightened his arms around Xing Minglan. Why do I feel so insecure? Burying her head in his arms, Xing Minglan no longer had the domineering air of a fourth miss of the Xing family or a domineering female CEO, and was now a helpless little bird. After all, everything else is secondary to me now. I just want to be with you. Holding the umbrella, Jing Yun passed the breakfast to Xing Minglan and sent her into the office. Since it was still early, there was almost no one in the office. Xing Minglan mustered up her courage and pulled his handsome face back the moment he turned around. Then, she kissed him. Jing Yun was stunned, but Xing Minglan closed her eyes. Jing Yun did not retreat. Instead, he kissed Xing Minglan's thin lips. He wanted to tell Xing Minglan that it was not that he did not have such a desire, but that he had been suppressing his feelings. Xing Minglan instantly sensed Jing Yun's fervent passion and responded accordingly. By the time they let go of each other, Xing Minglan's lipstick had been completely eaten by Jing Yun. Let's go in, someone will see us if we don't go in. Xing Minglan nodded, and watched as Jing Yun left reluctantly. She knew that such a life would not last long, but she would try her best to maintain and cherish it. Tonight was Huang Yao's VVIP night. 2 days before the entrance of the publicity department, they had come up with a special promotional strategy, because they knew the direction of Huang Yao's VVIP night. By 6 in the evening, the luxury cars sent by Huang Yao had arrived at the homes of the ladies, because Huang Yao would be escorting the VIPs directly to their destinations. Until now, none of the Huang Yao guests knew that Huang Yao would have 2 main venues this time, and that Mrs. Liu and Mrs. Liu would be at different venues. Xing Xiao arrived at Jingting at 6:30 in the evening, and found that Mu Qiqi had already changed into a golden spaghetti strap dress. She looked young and confident, and even had the air of a fairy. Seeing Mu Qiqi like that, Xing Xiao could not wait to press her down on the bed and make love to her madly. Of course, in order to witness tonight's event together, he had to endure it for a while. They quickly set off, and arrived at the romantic Sven Hotel half an hour later. This was the main venue of Huang Yao, and the other venue was located 40 kilometers away. One was in the north, and the other was in the south. It was to prevent Mrs. Liu and Mrs. Liu from meeting each other. When the waiter saw them, he immediately led them into the venue. It was Mu Qiqi's first time seeing the layout of the venue. It seemed that the planning department had put in a lot of effort. Because it was a romantic theme, roses and scented candles were the main decorations in the room. Coupled with the dark lighting, the atmosphere was simply wonderful. Is Mrs. Liu here? Mu Qiqi could not help asking the person in charge of the planning department. She just arrived. She is upstairs, looking for Mrs. Lu everywhere. Miss Mu, I don't think things will go smoothly tonight. It's okay. Let me know immediately if there's an emergency. That night, most of the guests were discussing the event of Huang Yao. It was a refreshing experience from the moment they arranged the pick-up and drop-off. Of course, they were also looking forward to seeing if there would be a fight between Mrs. Lu and Mrs. Lu like before. However, the event started at 7 in the evening, but the guests found that there were only half of the people in the venue today. Where was the other half? And Mrs. Lu, of course, did not find Mrs. Lu, her enemy. Soon, it was 7 in the evening. All the screens in the venue immediately showed the scene of the other venue. The guests were shocked when they saw it. Where are they? Are they in Sven Hotel too? Are they upstairs or downstairs? This is so interesting. Huang Yao's event this time is very exciting. I like it. However, unlike the other guests, Mrs. Lu always came at this time of the year to cause trouble for her sister-in-law. Otherwise, there would be no point for her to attend the event. Chapter 318. Madam, I'm really sorry. The other venue is in the north of the city. It's about 2 hours from here, the attendant replied. Because of the traffic congestion in the city, 40 kilometers suddenly became extremely far. I see. First Madam smiled. Huang Yao is playing tricks this year, isn't it? You separated me from that bitch. Find the person in charge, or else I'll make a scene. The venue. How could the waiter bear the responsibility? He quickly went to Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi. They looked at each other and quickly left the guests. They walked up to eldest Madame Lu. However, just as Mu Qiqi was about to speak, Mrs. Lu was about to slap her. But Xing Xiao grabbed her wrist and said coldly, "Do you know who you just touched?" Hee, Crown Prince. Eldest Mrs. Lu withdrew her hand and sneered. Your fiancé is so smart. She even thought of separating me from that bitch. But do you think I won't cause her trouble after separating us? You guys are too simple-minded. The other side should also be able to see these screens, right? In fact, Xing Xiao had predicted that this would happen. So, the fashion arena was half an hour late. In other words, they were still using the screen to do something else. Mu Qiqi was naturally angry since she was almost slapped. It was especially so when she saw that eldest Madame Lu was still clinging to her hatred after so many years and did not care about her husband. Mu Qiqi felt that eldest Madame Lu deserved it. However, even though he thought so, he still had to do what he had to do. First Madam, can you listen to me before you lose your temper? What? You still want to salvage your failed plan? Lady Lu coldly snorted. She was indeed very beautiful, especially when she was wearing a silver-white dress. Her figure was very graceful. One could imagine how much effort she had put in to win against young Madame Lu. I just feel sorry for eldest young Master Lu. Mu Qiqi mentioned eldest Madame's husband. You only think about revenge, but you don't know that eldest young master used his own reputation to help you take revenge. He courageously married his brother's ex-wife and was stabbed in the back by millions of knives. But what about you? Have you ever thought about him? As far as I know, younger Madame Lu is already having her third child this year. However, you haven't given birth to any children for eldest young master. You have the title of eldest young master's wife and enjoy the treatment of a wife, but you haven't fulfilled the duties of a wife. Who do you think you are taking revenge on? Is that young Mrs. Lu? She's a mother of 3 now. Who did you hurt? Eldest Madame Lu froze at Mu Qiqi's words. After all, she had assumed that Mu Qiqi would talk nonsense to persuade her like any other person. She did not expect that Muchichi would be so blunt. That's none of your business. It has nothing to do with me. I just feel that it's a pity. Do you know how much effort the eldest young master spent to give you such a precious gift? You can't even see the eldest young master in your eyes. You only know how to take revenge. But since you've taken revenge, why can your enemies still have 3 children and live happily? You only remember that you were betrayed. But have you ever thought about who held your hand when you fell into the abyss and gave you the position you have today? If it wasn't for the eldest young master, do you think you would still have the chance to stand here? Muchichi criticized the woman in front of her angrily. The best revenge is to live a happier and more carefree life than that woman. You don't have to exhaust yourself and drag others down. How old is the eldest young master? How many years can he wait for you? Have you thought about it? Eldest madam was silent. None of the people around her, not even her husband, had ever said such things to her. I've never seen a woman more selfish than you. You have such a good husband, but you don't want him. You hurt him so badly. If you really don't like the eldest young master and want revenge, you should just give up your position as his wife. Why would you let your benefactor get hurt? Eldest madam burst into tears at that. After all, Muchichi was accusing her of being a bad woman from head to toe. I hate being betrayed too. I've been hurt countless times, but it's to teach me how to distinguish between good and bad. It's so that I can cherish those who never leave me even when I'm in trouble. If you still want to take revenge, I won't stop you. Tonight, the reason why this place is so warm is because I want to give you and your wife a chance to open your hearts. If you still want to hold on to the past, then you can leave this place. I'll send someone to send you to another place. However, you have to know what you're going to lose tonight. I definitely can't have a husband anymore. No matter how much love I have, it will all disappear. Eldest Madame Lu suddenly panicked at Muchichi's last few words. In fact, she was afraid that her husband could not let her go after so many years. But after Muchichi said so much, she realized that she had been blinded by the situation. She had put all the hurt on her husband. Are you still leaving? Eldest Madame's feet were as heavy as lead. How could she still walk? Then I'll be honest with you. You can't see our conversation just now on the other side. I'll also tell you in advance that young Master Lu is here tonight. Having such a good husband is the biggest blow to that woman, isn't it? The corner of eldest Madame Lu's mouth trembled slightly. Tears were welling up in her eyes. If you still want to, you should let go now. Take revenge on those who hurt you in a brilliant way. Don't be the stupidest person. You'll hurt yourself while hurting your enemy. Can I? Muchichi asked eldest Madame Lu with utmost sincerity in the last 3 words. Eldest Madame Lu thought for a moment. Then, as if she had made up her mind, she said, I'll listen to your arrangement. Everyone present could not help but applaud eldest Madame Lu's courage. Muchichi felt relieved. Then, she smiled. If that's the case, there are many surprises waiting for you tonight. Enjoy it. Let the other side be envious of you. All the guests present gave Muchichi a thumbs up. She was the first person who dared to talk to eldest Madame Lu like that. Of course, it was a blow to the head. Then, Xingxiao held Muchichi's waist and reminded her to look outside. Eldest Madame Lu was already at the entrance of the venue with a bouquet of roses. Everyone cheered as well. That was when the other side finally saw the scene. Chapter 319. If eldest sister Lu was a sentimental person who was obsessed with revenge, then the younger Mrs. Lu would be a shrewd person. She did not have a powerful background, but she knew that marrying into a rich family was the only way for her to have a few more sons. This kind of thing, couldn't it be learned from the newspapers? Moreover, after years of evolution, the younger Mrs. Lu had learned how to behave like a rich lady. She knew how to increase her value and how to make a man fall for her. All these years, she had been relying on the eldest Mrs. Lu to target her. Tonight was the VVIP night of Huang Yao. Rumor had it that this event was planned by the 18-year-old bride of the Xing family. When she appeared in the main venue of the fashion show, she had a hunch that this 18-year-old girl would not be easy to deal with. Because she had participated in so many events of Huang Yao. But this was the only time she felt that the VVIP night of Huang Yao had been reborn. The main venue of the fashion show was full of singing and dancing. But it did not have the tacky atmosphere of a nightclub. It was very fashionable and special. Most importantly, there would be countless Easter eggs tonight. Huang Yao would show the latest season's new products to the VIPs. This was a privilege that only the VIPs could have. Looking at her side, the younger Mrs. Lu could not help but feel disappointed when her rival was not there. But soon, the live broadcast from the main venue of the fashion show changed. At this time, the people in the main venue of the fashion show finally understood that Huang Yao had arranged two main venues. Of course, they thought that the main venue of the fashion show would be upstairs or downstairs. But, the waiter told them that the main venue of the fashion show was on the other side of the city. This kind of exciting arrangement was novel even for the people from the warm home, not to mention the trendy wives who were always studying fashion. So, they were very satisfied with the arrangement of Huang Yao. They were very surprised. At this time, the screen in the main venue of the fashion show was showing the eldest Lu's son entering the main venue of the fashion show with roses in his hand. He walked straight to the eldest Mrs. Lu and knelt down in front of her. "Zixin, I don't know if you are ready to be my real wife. But, I still want to take this opportunity to give it a try." Seeing this, younger Mrs. Lu took a sip of whiskey and sneered. This woman only has revenge in her heart. How can she have time for love? It was also because the First Lady was focused on revenge that the little madam was quite proud of herself. As young Master Lu entered, the beautiful sound of the violin began to play. Mrs. Lu looked at her husband and thought of what Mu Chichi had said to her just now. Of course, she was touched and guilty. So, she covered her mouth and cried out loud. At the same time, she reached out and pulled her husband up. "Do you still want me?" Seeing the two of them hugging each other tightly, the crowd burst into applause. "Of course I'm willing. I've been waiting for you to come back." Eldest Mrs. Lu nodded and hugged her husband tightly. At this time, the treasures of the heartwarming home ground were also sent over. The waiter carefully pushed the set of precious jewelry in front of the crowd and introduced it to them. This set of jewelry is called Match Made in Heaven. It was a famous piece of Huang Yao's early years. But because Huang Yao was in a crisis, unfortunately, this set of jewelry was auctioned by the CEO at that time. It has been circulating abroad for many years. Fortunately, young Master Lu has found it. He wants to give this set of jewelry to his beloved wife, Miss Zhang Zixin. He hopes that she can understand that she is the happiest woman in the world. Everyone was amazed when the set of jewelry was presented. It was a priceless treasure for both Huang Yao and the guests. But now, it was given to eldest Mrs. Lu. It was priceless. The guests were all amazed by the brilliance of the set of jewelry. Mrs. Lu could not hold back her tears no matter how hard she tried. She said, "For so many years, I have been obsessed with the past and failed to be a good wife. I really feel guilty. In the future, I will take good care of you, take good care of this family, and give birth to the cutest baby for you." Eldest Lu put the set of jewelry on eldest Mrs. Lu and said, "You don't have to compare yourself with anyone. Because I am the one who can give you happiness more than my brother." You are the biggest blow to them since the day you married me." Then, the two of them hugged each other tightly. At that moment, music suitable for dancing started playing. Eldest Mrs. Lu looked at the two of them on the screen. She was the one who felt uncomfortable now. Because at this moment, the sense of accomplishment she felt when she took everything away from eldest Mrs. Lu was gone. More importantly, that bitch actually had such a priceless set of jewelry. On the other hand, although her husband did not go out to fool around, their love for each other was getting worse day by day. Not to mention jewelry, she rarely saw gifts now. Moreover, he was always working overtime in the company. And this was the result of her hard work. If she did not work hard, her husband would have found a new lover. Mu Qiqi was very pleased to see this. She leaned on Xing Xiao's chest and smiled. "Xiao Xiao, don't you think this is good? I really don't understand why eldest Mrs. Lu is so obsessed with revenge." Xing Xiao's eyes were charming. Under the romantic and warm light, he hugged the little one in his arms. The event of Huang Yao this time would be reported in the news. Sure enough, the little one's ability was endless. She was also a little one who made him proud. Now, as long as we are sure that there is no problem at the main venue of the fashion show, we should be safe tonight, right? I will remember you in my heart. What's the use of that? Mu Qiqi could not help but snort. Grandpa Xing wanted Xing Minghui to take all the credit. Be good. I will reward you well tonight. Pfft, that bastard. He was obviously asking for benefits for himself. However, when the two of them were getting intimate, eldest Lu came to them and thanked them. "Miss Mu, I really have to thank you for helping me get my wife back. When you came to me at first, I thought you were just fooling around. I am sorry for my attitude back then. If you really want to thank me, you should take revenge for your wife. She has had enough of it for so many years. Don't worry. No, I don't want to take revenge. That bitch is the mother of 3 children now. I don't want to be a sinner." Mrs. Lu came to them and held her husband's hand. She said to them, "Those who owe you emotionally will betray you, and they will also betray her. Let's see what happens to her." Chapter 320. Because there was something that he had considered for a long time but did not tell his wife. It was that his brother had another female star outside. Because he pitied his 3 nephews and nieces. He did not want his wife, which made him even more ridiculous. Now that his wife had let it go, then, it would not hurt to say it out. The popular female singer, Mingru, is his new sweetheart. Mu Qiqi and Madame Lu were stunned after hearing what eldest Lu said. "Is that true?" "Zixin, I hid it from you, I know." Mrs. Lu quickly interrupted her husband. "Because you don't want to push me into the abyss of hatred. If it was not for the event in Huang Yao and Sister Qiqi's reminder, I would definitely take revenge on that bitch if I knew about it. If that happened, their 3 children would hate me very much. I just did not expect that bitch to snatch a piece of trash after all these years. This way, my heart will feel more comfortable. In the future, I will be able to live more wholeheartedly." Because Mrs. Lu was a smart woman. She would soon find out what her husband was doing. That was the consequence of being a mistress. There were only 0 or countless times of cheating. "I think this is worth a drink. Crown Prince, do you want a drink?" Mr. Lu asked Xing Xiao. "To thank you, I have brought Lafite." Xing Xiao did not move at first. Then, he hugged his little one and said, it would be impolite to refuse. Seeing that, Mrs. Lu held Mu Qiqi's hand warmly. "Let's keep in touch in the future. I am really grateful to you. I hope to be friends with you." "Okay. Let's have dinner together when we have time. Mu Chi-Chi nodded. At the same time, the younger Mrs. Liu was irritated by what had happened to Mrs. Liu. She called her husband. Do you know what your brother bought for that bitch? Priceless jewelry. But what about you? Darling, I have handed over all my financial power. Are you still not satisfied? Go and buy whatever you like. After that, the man hung up the phone. Younger Mrs. Liu could only stand in the corridor angrily. At this time, a long-haired woman in a white dress walked to younger Mrs. Liu and said, "Last week, someone saw your husband shopping with a female star. They were hugging each other intimately." Nonsense. Do I need to lie to you? They're just pitiful people in this circle. Then the woman took out her phone and showed her a photo. I was wondering why Meng Root suddenly became popular recently. Turns out it's all because of your husband. Younger Mrs. Liu was stunned when she saw the picture. I'm at home giving birth to this bastard, and he's actually out fooling around. Forgive me for being blunt, but aren't you the one who hooked up with him? The woman laughed. It's not that I'm being nosy, but Meng Ru is an artist in my brother's company. She's always restless. I'm afraid that she's plotting something against my brother, so I sent someone to follow her. I didn't expect that. It's a gift for you tonight. Younger Mrs. Liu clenched her fists after hearing that. She could not control herself at all. So, she did not finish the event in Huangyao. Instead, she called her husband again. Where are you? I'm working overtime in the company. Then, she went to her husband's company, but there was no one there. Then, she went online to check Meng Ru's whereabouts. She knew that she was attending an event and was resting in one of the hotels. So, she drove there and took out a small package. She asked the receptionist, "This is Mr. Liu Chongfeng's thing. He asked me to bring it to him, but I don't have his room number. Can you pass it to him for me?" "Yes, ma'am." Then, younger Mrs. Liu hid in a corner. The receptionist called the room number. About 5 minutes later, she saw her husband coming downstairs. Then, she paid the waiter to follow her husband upstairs to see which room he was staying in. Soon, the waiter told her that he was staying in the room next to Meng Ru's. After knowing the news, younger Mrs. Liu's body trembled. She could finally understand how eldest Mrs. Liu felt. She wanted to go up and tear that mistress into pieces. No, to prevent herself from ending up like eldest Mrs. Liu, younger Mrs. Liu immediately called her people. She wanted to catch the bastard in the act and get the evidence. Then, she would have the right to speak in court. Stealing was stealing after all. She did not expect her retribution to come so soon. No, she didn't even know that what she had stolen was a bomb that had been planted a long time ago. That night, Huang Yao's event was very successful. Both the main venues were highly praised by the guests. The next day, some pictures of Huang Yao's event were also on the hot search list. Of course, it was a hot topic. Following this topic, there was another piece of gossip on the list. The popular female singer, Meng Ru, was caught in the act last night. She was the lover of the second son of the Liu family. Seeing this, eldest Mrs. Liu could understand why that bitch was not there last night. It turned out that she had gone to catch the adulterer. She always knew that bitch was smart. But no matter how smart she was, she would still be betrayed by that man. Still, she did not expect that younger Mrs. Liu would find out so quickly. Huang Yao's event had a beautiful turnaround. And Mu Chi-Chi, the main planner, was also being talked about. Wasn't she the young bride of the Xing family? She was already engaged to the crown prince at the age of 18. And with the success of the event, it turned out that she was not only young, but also very creative. Everyone began to agree with Xing Zhao's judgment. She was not just full of collagen. She was also very capable. On the other hand, the matter of the Liu family was also on the entertainment gossip list. Eldest Mrs. Liu announced that she had given up on revenge last night. And younger Mrs. Liu went to catch her husband in the act. It must be said that it was very ironic. Mu Qiqi liked watching dramas, especially such a good one. It was said that there was a cycle of karma. But she did not expect that the consequences would be so violent. The next day, Huang Yao announced another celebration banquet. And Grandpa Xing called Xing Xiao and asked him to bring Mu Qiqi home. Even if Grandpa Xing did not acknowledge Mu Qiqi, he had to give Mu Qiqi a reward. Who asked her to organize Huang Yao's event so beautifully? You're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.